Hello. Welcome back everybody to the Daily Cooking Show, to the Daily Cooking Stream. If you're watching this live, it is currently Sunday. If you're watching this live, it is currently 5 p.m. EDT, and it is lovely to have all of you. I'm really excited for today's stream. I see that we have all of my lovely little sous chefs in chat. Hello to Serena, hello to Cloud9, hello to Jack, hello to Noidroid, hello to Trash Can Cat Mom, hello, hello, hello. Welcome on in everybody. Also hello to Jack, I'm not sure if I already said that. Hello to Nifty Biz, hello to Gabby, hello to Dosky as well. Welcome on in. It's good to have all of you. It's good to see all of you. Hope you've all been having a lovely Sunday today. Hope you've all been having a beautiful day. In New York, it is currently sunny and it's really, really pretty outside. Yeah, it's good to have all of you. So, everybody, I'm really excited about today's stream. We have quite a bit to talk about. Welcome on in. We're going to go ahead and just have some more people shuffle in here. Hello to Ritual. Welcome on in as well. I have had a lovely week. Thank you for asking. Okay, my friends. So today, I feel like it has been a bit of a while since we've done any kind of Southern food, but specifically I feel like it's been a while since we've done any sort of Cajun or Creole food. And so that's what I'm really, really excited for today, my friends. We're going to be doing food from one of my favorite cuisines. We're going to be doing some food from Louisiana. We're going to be doing two classic dishes. We're going to be doing shrimp and grits, and then we'll also be doing a ratatouille. Lizard King 01, you love me? Well, maybe. I'm just a person on your screen. Teaching you how to cook, but thank you. Also, hello to Jesselins, welcome on in. So my friends, today we're going to be doing two dishes. Once again, shrimp and grits, and then a Creole-inspired ratatouille. And we'll talk about each one. So shrimp and grits, we're gonna have nice, delicious, juicy seared shrimp. We're gonna be doing some cheese grits today, my friends. And the grits, of course, begins with some white grits here. We're going to be doing some homemade chicken stock for it. So the grits are gonna get nice and creamy. We're gonna finish it with a bunch of freshly shredded Swiss cheese. Also, welcome on in for the Zeno gal. Welcome on in. So yeah, guys, grits, let's go ahead and just set those aside. And all of it is going to be based off of this bad boy right here. I have a whole chicken, my friends. The biggest thing that I will recommend to all of you again and again, get into the habit of buying whole chickens. You buy whole chickens, and then you're able to then use all of the bones, use all the byproducts to then make a beautiful, delicious homemade chicken stock. One of the best ways to make better food at home is to stop using pre-bought chicken stock, to stop using boxed chicken stock, and to start getting into the habit of making it yourself. Can I please get a yes, chef? And so, I'm going to show you all how to break this down, head to toe. I'm going to take off all the bones. We're not going to use any of the meat for today, but we're just going to use the backbones to make a lovely, delicious chicken stock. Everybody, Cajun and Creole cooking, you cannot have without these ingredients right here, everybody. This is known as the Cajun Creole Trinity, the Louisiana Trinity. This is celery, this is onions, and this is bell pepper. When you have trinities, these sort of, aromatic bases, every single cuisine, every single culture, they have a different aromatic base that they use in a lot of different dishes. In French cuisine, you have a mirepoix, which is carrots, onions, and celery. In Cajun Creole cooking, you have green bell pepper, celery, and some onion. And so we'll be chopping all of it up. It's going to go both into the shrimp and into the ratatouille for today. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just set that down, set that aside. Oh my God, I really need a haircut one of these days. My friends, this is going to be the basis of our ratatouille. So ratatouille is a traditional sort of like French peasant stew. It's done with zucchini, it's done with squash, it's done with eggplants, it's done in like a tomato sauce. And so the reason why mine is going to be a Creole ratatouille is because we're also going to be using some of the previous trinity. Okay, so we have this eggplant, which we're gonna cube up. We have this lovely green squash, we have this tomato, and we have this red pepper, which is going to then constitute the sauce. It's going to be this really delicious, very simple, very hearty vegetable stew. I wanted something vegetarian. I wanted to have like something vegetable based because we're eating shrimp and we're eating these cheesy grits. And so I just want something on the lighter side to have alongside all of that. Okay, and then of course, guys, I have some shrimp in the fridge as well. The first step is going to be to do a homemade chicken stock, and then after we do the homemade chicken stock, we gotta make the trinity, we gotta make the sauce for the ratatouille, we gotta start the grits. So we have a lot of work coming up ahead of us. And so, everybody, my question to you all is everybody ready to begin? Is everybody ready to get started? I wanna hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching, please, and thank you. From everybody, even if you're just tuning in, if it's your first time chatting, I need to hear a yes, chef, from everybody. So let's have a little sip of water. Let's get nice and hydrated. And so my friends, we are going to be starting off by making this delicious homemade chicken stock. Okay. As always, guys, I make all of my homemade chicken stocks inside of a pressure cooker, and let me explain to you why. A pressure cooker is just quite literally able to cook things faster. It's able to make things a lot faster, it's able to make things a lot more convenient, and thus I use my Instant Pot to make all sorts of stocks, all sorts of soups, and all kinds of bean dishes as well. Instead of having to sit over a boiling pot of water for 2 to 3 hours, I just throw everything into the pressure cooker and just be done with it. And so, I'm going to show you what we're doing with it, because it's not just going to be some chicken bones, but a chicken stock is also a really nice way of using up some leftover vegetable scraps. The goal of a chicken stock, guys, is for it to be used in different dishes. It's supposed to be a blank slate. So we're not going to season it, we're not going to add any spices, we're just going to do vegetables and chicken bones, and we're going to go ahead and get that started. So, everybody, I have roughly 1.5 to 2 quarts of water in here. Also, Blue Streak Sonic, thank you so much for, 3-month gift subscription has entered month 3. That's such a specific notification. Blue Streak Sonic, thank you so much for the sub, and welcome on in. Creole is French African, right? So, this is actually a very good question. In regards to the word Creole itself specifically, it actually refers to a lot of different, again, like it's French African and then also indigenous, right? But it refers to a lot of different places and a lot of different groups of people. People talk about Creole in reference to, the Caribbean. People talk about Creole in also parts of Brazil. People talk about Creole when we actually also talk about, Louisiana. And so you just basically have different historical reasons for that, right? But ultimately, yes, it is a blend of French culture and then African culture and indigenous culture, right? Because of immigration and also a lot of slavery, right? That's how it happened. That's quite literally how it was founded upon. Okay, my friends, so we're going to begin by doing the chicken stock, and for that, we're going to have to start breaking down some of the vegetables. Also, Serena, thank you for the reminder. If you haven't already checked out my Patreon, if you would like to support the cooking show and everything that we do here, you can type in !Patreon. You can scroll down, go into the About section, because any and all help there is really appreciated. Okay, my friends, so we're going to begin by getting some vegetable scraps that we will otherwise throw away. This is a very nice way of using up these kinds of vegetable scraps. Throw them into a stock, and then it's just going to make it nice and aromatic and delicious. So we're going to be starting off with the celery. And guys, as you may know, the best way to get rid of that fibrous bit of celery is just to go ahead, and these dried off tops and bottoms we're not going to use. We're just going to go ahead, pluck it off, and we peel off all of these celery fibers, my friends. They're super, super tough. They're super chewy. Okay? And so, actually, we're just going to do the same thing with this chunk of the celery, and we're just going to go ahead and throw that into my stock pot. Celery inside, and let's go ahead and do the same thing with the other one. Break off the dried off end, peel it up. Also, Pachirisu, welcome on in. Peel it up, and peel it up. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and get all of the celery inside of the pot. As for what kind of vegetables you can use carrot scraps, you can use onion scraps, you can use celery, guys. There is so much room to play with in what you're using. I'm not going to go out of my way to use vegetables I'm not already cooking with. I'm just going to use the scraps of vegetables that I already have. And speaking of which, the next vegetable that we're going to have scraps of, guys, is going to be my bell peppers, because we're not going to need the tops and we're not going to need the bottoms. And so, instead of just throwing those away, for today, all I'm going to do is we're going to slice it off and put it inside of the pot. I'm not taking the seeds out. You're going to see what I do with the seeds. But right now, guys, I'm just slicing off the very top of it, exposing the inside. It's a little bit gruesome. And this chunk of bell pepper I'm going to throw in. And I'm going to do the same exact thing with the other one. I love peppers, that's right. And guys, green bell peppers, this is the basis of so many incredible Cajun and Creole dishes. So let's go ahead and get that sliced off. Beautiful, just like that. And those bell pepper scraps also go inside of the pot. And now, guys, last but not least, the only thing that I think you should be going out of your way to include inside of a stock, I think every chicken stock, every beef stock, all of them need an allium. They need an onion, they need a leek, anything that you could possibly imagine. I cannot have a stock without an allium. Also, welcome on in, the one from Amsterdam. Does the stem go into the stock, chef? I'm not going to do the stem of the bell pepper because I don't want to get all the bell pepper seeds, because then it's going to be really difficult to actually strain it. And so the seeds I'm going to discard, but I'm just putting in the tops. Okay, my friends, so we have this onion, and the onion is really what builds a lot of the flavor of a stock. I feel like it's 25% of the flavor. The rest of it comes from the chicken, but the onion is essential. You can use leeks, you can use a shallot, use whatever you have for something like this. And so guys, all I'm going to do, I'm going to just be slicing off this bottom end of the root because it's a little bit dirty. And I'm going to take the head, and we're going to cut off the head of the onion. And then I'm going to take this bad boy and slice him in half lengthwise. And so the rest of this onion is going to be used for, of course, everything else that we're cooking today. And then this onion, guys, we're not breaking it apart. We're not chopping it. We're not peeling it. We're not doing, well, we are peeling it, but we're not going to break him apart in any way. And the reason we're not breaking him apart is because I'm not looking for it to make my stock cloudy. Now, this onion is actually a little bit nasty. It's a little bit spoiled on the inside, it looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim off that spoiled part, right? Just because I'm a little nervous about it. And let's go ahead and get the rest of this onion inside of my stock pot. Okay, next, what else could I actually add to the stock? I also have these red peppers. Right, so the red pepper, I'm also just going to go ahead and take the head of it off. The only vegetable scraps that I will not be including, I will not be actually including my zucchini scraps. They're not particularly aromatic, and they're just going to get really, really mushy. Okay, so the other bell pepper chunk, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it away into my stock pot as well. And guys, the last thing that we're going to need is just like a few garlic cloves. Not too many, we don't want to go like too crazy with it or anything, but just a few garlic cloves and it'll be perfect. Just 2 of these bad boys, and that will be more than fine. Okay? And all I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm just going to give them a really, really light smash using a bench scraper, just so that we can peel off the skin and we're getting some more of the garlic flavor actually extracted into the stock itself. Chef, how am I doing today? Jack, I'm doing quite well. I hope you're doing the same. I hope you're doing well. A little bit sleepy, a little bit tired, went out late last night, but we're back and we're in the kitchen and we are cooking. So my friends, let's just go ahead and get this garlic clove peeled up with a very slight tap, a very slight smash. As time has gone on, I only like very little garlic in my stocks, maybe only like 2 or 3 cloves at maximum. Where am I based? I am in New York. Why do you ask? It's a very personal question. And guys, let's also go ahead and get some bay leaves in here. Love using bay leaves for my chicken stocks. Achilles, thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. That's very sweet of you. Let's go ahead and get a bunch of bay leaves inside of my stock pot as well. And then guys, last but not least, we'll actually go ahead and get the chicken scraps inside. So all of these bay leaves, gonna make the stock nice and aromatic. Once again, I'm using green pepper scraps, I'm using red pepper scraps, I'm using bay leaves, I'm using onion, I'm using celery scraps, and the garlic. So inside of the pot it goes. And guys, let's go ahead and break down a whole chicken. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up my station. We're gonna go ahead and glove up, and I am going to teach you all how to break down a whole chicken. Is everybody ready for this? I'm gonna need to hear another yes, chef, please and thank you. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate it. So I'm just gonna tie up my hair. We're gonna go ahead and glove on up to make our lives a little bit easier. Okay. And just get my gloves on. So everybody, first and foremost, why are we going through all of the trouble of making a homemade chicken stock? Well, store-bought boxed chicken stock is flavorless, completely lacking in any gelatin content whatsoever, and it is way too expensive. The best thing that you can do is to get into the habit of buying whole chickens. You get all of the pieces, you get the 2 wings, you get the 2 breasts, you get the 2 legs, and then you get all of those lovely backbones. It's cheaper and it's more delicious. I am not asking you to stand over a pot for hours. All I'm asking you to do, guys, is if you have a pressure cooker, if you have an Instant Pot, that is the best way in a home setting to get some really delicious, easy, and quick chicken stock. Okay? And so, breaking down a whole chicken is not something that you should be intimidated by. It's easy, and I'm going to show you how to do it. We're never cutting through bone. We're just going to be going in between all of the different joints. So, everybody, I bought a whole chicken, and I put it on a sheet tray to let it air dry in the fridge so that it's not sopping wet. I'm going to go ahead and grab my lovely whole chicken, grab it by the neck here. And so guys, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and detach the wings. The wings I'm not going to cook with. I like to also put my chicken wings inside of the stock itself. So to get the wings off, everybody, breast side down, backbone up. Okay, here's the wing. All that you're going to want to do, you're going to want to grab the wing, you're going to want to hold on to it, and then we're just going to make a couple of incisions all the way around the shoulder. Okay? And we're just separating where the wing actually meets the shoulder of the chicken itself. And once we made the incision, all we have to do, guys, is just pop it out, go in between the joints, and that is one chicken wing nicely and beautifully cut off. And I will go ahead and throw that into my pot. That's one. Lovely. And let's go ahead and do the same with the next one. So guys, I take my chicken wing. Once again, I'm holding it up and I'm just making an incision exactly where it meets the rest of the chicken. Okay? And then once I do that, I can just go ahead and pop out the joint, go under, go around, leaving all of the meat inside, and that is my next chicken wing. Wasn't that easy? I want to hear yes, chef. I want to make sure that all of you know just how easy that was to do. So that's the second chicken wing gone, and into the stock pot it goes, because again, I don't really cook with chicken wings that often. So guys, next, we're gonna go ahead and detach the legs. To get the legs off, it's even easy. The only thing that you have to do is just make a little incision, right, where the leg meets the rest of the bird. Make a little incision, okay? Just separate the skin, go ahead and flip it over, pop the leg out, and then we're just going ahead and carving out the leg after we've split the joint, going in between the bones, and that is one beautiful chicken leg ready to go, my friends. It's really, really simple. It's really, really easy. Everybody can do this. All that you need is a sharp knife, sharp enough to go through the skin, and we're never chopping through bone. We're not using a cleaver. You don't need a lot of strength. Anybody can do this. I want to get everybody into the habit of doing this. It's cheaper, and you're saving money, and you're able to go ahead and get a much more delicious homemade chicken stock as a result. So let's go ahead and get the second leg cut off. Gonna go ahead and just split that, open that bad boy up. Okay, and now we're just taking off this chicken leg. Beautiful. And now, my friends, all that we are left with is the backbone, the carcass, as well as my chicken breasts. So we have two chicken breasts, right? We have the left one and the right one, and we have a bone going right down the middle. And so the first thing that we have to do, my friends, is just separate it. This is the most difficult step, okay? So all that you're gonna have to do, so pay attention. Here's the bone going down the middle. We're going to make an incision. We're not gonna go through all the way because we're gonna be using our hands. We make an incision all the way to the end and make sure that we're cutting through the skin at the end as well. We cut through the skin just to be able to make peeling it off easier later on. We make the incision, and then we make an L-shaped cut, and then we cut all the way through to the end of the skin. And so now, my friends, you can see the breast is trying to get out. It's trying to escape the rest of the chicken carcass, okay? It's just trying to escape. And so all that you're going to do is you're going to use your thumb to basically gently peeling it and peeling and peeling it up, right? There you go. Just use your thumb to separate the breast from the rest of the carcass, and it just wants to come out. It basically, just by itself, naturally wants to slide on out. Actually, what happened here? Did I get some of the... Did I not make an incision correctly? Did I accidentally get some of the breast cartilage? I think I might have gotten some of the breast cartilage. That is on me. There you go. There you go. Now all of it is sliding off. Beautiful. We're just going to use a knife to help it out a little bit, my friends. Out all of it goes, right? That's the breast. That is the tender sitting under it. Using our thumb once again, we're just going through it all, separating it. And now, my friends, the very last step is just going to be picking up the rest of the breast, taking it, and then peeling it off the carcass with a knife. And that is one chicken breast and tender attached. There you go. Let's go ahead and do the same exact thing to the other side, guys. So once again, little incision all the way through, cutting all the way to the end of the skin. Okay? And then we take our knife, we make an angle out this way, and let's go ahead and separate the meat from the bone once more. We just use our thumb. We're using our thumb. We're using our thumb. Okay. There you go. And all of it is just peeling off, my friends. Meat wants to come off the bone. Okay? I promise you. You don't have to use a knife. You don't have to go in, start hacking at the bone or anything. It's all really, really simple, guys. Just follow the existing lines. Follow the existing muscle groups. Okay. So now that we're at this stage, what bone is here, actually? I think this might be the rest of the wishbone. The wishbone was just a little bit stuck inside. That's totally okay. Go in here, trim that off, and now let's go ahead and get the rest of the breast peeled off. And that is it, my friends. That is the next chicken breast. That has now been done. That is now ready to go. And let's just go ahead, and I'm going to twist off the neck of the chicken from the backbone, just so that it fits into my stock pot a little bit easier. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing with the rest of like the backbone and the breastplate. Just go ahead and grab it and just twist off the backbone. And I'm doing this purely so that it fits into my stock pot a little bit easier. And this chicken fat right here, I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to go ahead and discard that. The chicken fat might make my stock a little bit too greasy. And my friends, that is the entire chicken carcass, all beautifully cut up, ready to go. And that is going to be the start of a lovely, delicious homemade chicken stock, my friends. So let's go ahead and do a quick little recap and talk about everything that is inside of that pot. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly wash off my hands. Whew. Okay. Alrighty, everybody. So let's talk about everything that is inside of this pot at the moment. The beauty of a stock is that it is functional, that it's a very nice way of using up existing vegetable scraps that you may have. And so inside, we have some celery scraps, we have some pepper scraps, we have some onion scraps, and we also have some garlic. And so the garlic, the celery, the onion, the peppers, it's going to go ahead and make our stock nice and aromatic. We have some bay leaves in there as well to give it like a really nice herbaceous quality. And we broke down a whole chicken. I added in the wings, I added in the rest of the carcass, and that is sitting at about 2 quarts of water or so. Everybody should get into the habit of making homemade chicken stocks. I need to hear a yes, chef, right now, please and thank you. It's delicious, it's simple, and a pressure cooker makes your life so much easier. And so, my friends, the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my lovely pot full of chicken bones, full of all of my vegetable scraps, and I'll be setting it on to high pressure for 50 minutes. Set that on, 50 minutes, and just have it go. We're gonna get a nice, delicious, concentrated, golden, juicy chicken stock. So Patricia, you asked me, could you use the stock to make a chicken noodle soup? Absolutely, that's what chicken stock is for. In fact, we now have all of these like separated bits of meat. We have the legs and the breasts, and the beauty of a chicken noodle soup is that you get to use everything. The bones to make a stock, you then get to cook the meat, and you get to do it all the way from scratch, from the bottom up. So my friends, I will go ahead and get rid of all of this chicken because we're not cooking with it today. We'll maybe be using some of it on Wednesday. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this into my fridge. And does anybody have any more cooking questions for me in the meantime, before we continue throughout everything? We have a bunch of stuff to do, my friends. We have to make the ratatouille. We have a lot of vegetables to process. We have to make the sauce for the ratatouille. We have to make the shrimp, the grits. We are in for a really, really busy day, and I love being busy. So guys, before we continue, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take a second just to clean up my station. Jack, how do you make a fish stock? So I don't get to make a lot of fish stocks because I don't typically cook with fish. I don't work with fish. So I'm not really the best person to ask. Do we need the same veggies? Well, Jack, it depends. If you want the flavor of those vegetables, then you can use those. It's entirely up to you and your own intentions. A fish stock doesn't have to have anything. But if you're making a fish soup, then those vegetables would be really nice. Okay, if we have the time, can we add aromatics after the pressure cooker, asks Serena. And the answer is yes. In fact, my favorite thing to do, if I want to put in a lot of time and love into my chicken stock, is I add my vegetables during like the last 30 minutes of boiling. Because the aromatics, the vegetables, they tend to actually lose flavor over time if you end up cooking it for too long. So I would actually only ideally do it in the last 30 minutes to an hour. Instead of right from the beginning of the process. Okay, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and just quickly wash off my knife, so please bear with me. Is everybody checked in today? Is everybody locked in? I want to hear another yes, chef, please and thank you. So, gonna go ahead and grab my knife, nice hot water, get some soap on this bad boy, and I'm just gonna go ahead and wash off my knife. Ooh, my voice is a little dead today. I don't know why it's so dead. Just wash off my knife. Some nice hot soapy water. Get all those little chicken pieces off of it. Get it done, get it sanitized, and get it ready to go. Also, thank you so much to Glucy for the gifted sub. Thank you, thank you. Chef, do I speak any other languages? Yes, I do, walk really. And the answer is I do speak Russian. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly transfer my cutting board into the dishwasher. And then, my friends, we're going to begin with the rest of the prep that we need to get done for today, because today is going to be a busy day. We have a lot that we need to do. And so, we have to go ahead and get a nice jump start on all of that now. So, my friends, we're making a ratatouille today. For those of you that do not know, a ratatouille is a traditional French vegetable stew. Also, Ritual, thank you for the reminder for me to have a nice glass of water. Okay, so ratatouille, it's a traditional French vegetable stew. It's almost inside of a tomato sauce. It has peppers, it has eggplant, and it has zucchini, it has squash, as popularized by the movie Ratatouille. However, the ratatouille that they show off in the movie is actually a slightly different dish. It's like layered and it's really, really pretty, but traditionally, at its core, my friends, a ratatouille is a peasant dish. It uses cheap vegetables, you know, you stew it, you cook it, you throw it into the oven, you let it cook down, everything gets really nice and soft. It's supposed to be a really nice way of getting in a lot of vegetables and cooking down a lot of vegetables. And that is why I really, really want it with today's dish. We're gonna have cheese, we're gonna have starch, we're gonna have protein. I wanted something very nice and delicious and vegetable for it. And so, my friends, it's going to start off by making the tomato sauce for today. So let's go ahead. And first and foremost, guys, we're going to be charring everything under the broiler. This is one of my favorite cooking techniques, and we'll talk about this in just a second and why we're doing this. So, as you may know, I take a lot of inspiration from Mexican cooking. Specifically, the act of going out of your way to char a lot of different vegetables. You char vegetables for like a salsa, to make a sauce out of it. You char it to put it later on into a dish. It adds a really nice, delicious smokiness to the dish. And so, I feel like that is a technique that I've stolen. Well, not stolen, that I've taken. I'm inspired by Mexican cooking, and I apply it to a lot of different places. Specifically, in this ratatouille, the pepper sauce, the tomato sauce, it's going to feature some of these charred vegetables. So let's go ahead and get that prepped now. And this is, guys, is one of my favorite things with cooking. You can look at a bunch of different cuisines, you can look at a bunch of different cultures, a bunch of different methods. And what you can do is you can take different techniques, you can take different ideas, and you can apply them to different places. For something like ratatouille, for something like a humble, simple vegetable dish, that smokiness, guys, that smokiness will be delicious. Right? You can't go wrong. It's gonna be a tomato sauce, it's gonna be nice and acidic and sweet and flavorful, so why not make it a little bit smoky? Can I please get a yes, chef, to make sure that everybody understands? And so, my friends, it's going to begin with the tomatoes and the pepper. Okay, so it's not just like a straight tomato sauce. I really, really love my red pepper sauces as well. And the reason this is a Creole Ratatouille is because we're going to be using the Cajun Creole Trinity, which is the bell pepper, the onion, and the celery as well as some sage later on that we'll add on in. Also, this is not the best eggplant in the world. It's turning a little brown. Oh well. Okay, so guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and get my bell pepper out. I'm gonna get my tomatoes out. And this is a technique that I think everybody should get into the habit of doing at home. If you don't have a broiler, if you don't have an oven, as a lot of apartments tend to not have, you can just use a cast iron pan. You can use a non-stick pan plus some oil. You can use a traditional Mexican comal, either a metal one or the clay one. It is entirely and utterly up to you. Okay. So my knife is now nice and dried off. I'm gonna go ahead and set the rest of these vegetables behind me. And so, my friends, let me show you the best way to get nice, flat pieces of bell pepper. This is the way that people do it in restaurants. Okay, so the last thing I wanna see you do is to go in there with a knife, dig this out, and then pull out the seeds. Only do that if you're doing a stuffed bell pepper. My ideal method, my friends. So watch this. We don't want any of the spongy part. We don't want any of the white part. All that we're going to do is we're going to go inside and we're just going to peel it and shave it and shave it and shave it. And we're leaving as much of the white part inside, all of the seeds inside and intact, right? And now we just get to go ahead and easily make our way through the vegetable. Okay, so we're just cutting off the white part, we're peeling it, shaving it, leaving all of the seeds inside. And now the last one just comes out so easily. There you go, my friends. This is the red pepper, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it onto my sheet tray. Look at that, so easy. Would it be acceptable to make this without eggplant? So Walker Lily, I'm gonna tell you yes, and let me explain to you why. This is a vegetable stew. This is a Creole Ratatouille. You use what vegetables you have available to you. If you don't like eggplant, don't put it in. It's a peasant's dish. This isn't the kind of a dish where people are like, oh, you cannot have ratatouille without eggplant. It's a vegetable stew. It's stewed vegetables. Make it your own. Do whatever you want with it. Okay? So I am just here to show you technique, my friends. I'm here to show you technique and methodology. I am not here to teach you hard recipes. You can say it's ratatouille inspired, right? But you make it a vegetable stew at the end of the day. So my friends, let's go ahead and take each of these tomatoes. And again, the thing that I hate most is I hate seeing people do this method. When they want to get the core out of a tomato, I'm going to do the bad method first. They take a paring knife and they go in and then they dig it out like this. And they dig it out and they dig it out. And I hate this method. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, it's very easy to not get it out all in one piece. Second of all, you're sawing through it and destroying the flesh of the tomato. I much prefer my method, which is I take my tomato, I make a nice, elegant cut lengthwise, and once I cut it lengthwise, because we still need it flat anyways, I make 1 incision, 2 incisions, pop out the core of the tomato. 1 incision, 2 incisions, pop out the core of the tomato. Nice and easy. I hate doing that paring knife method because I hate having to point the knife at myself at my own hands. It's a little bit dangerous, it's a little suboptimal. Does everybody understand? I want to hear yes, chef, right now, please and thank you. So guys, this other tomato, let's go ahead and get this bad boy done. Once again, same idea. Just go ahead, get the core of it out. This is how I want you all to do it. 1 and 2, you have a lot more control of it this way. And pop out Mr. Tomato. There you go. And let's cut this last one in half as well, lengthwise. Beautiful. So guys, let's go ahead and get all of these tomatoes onto my sheet tray. And yes, these are plum tomatoes. And there's a reason why I'm using plum tomatoes above all else. You can't say that, yes, plum tomatoes are very nice for the sauce because of how fleshy they are. You can make that argument. At the end of the day, I'm using plum tomatoes because these are the cheapest available tomatoes. I'm gonna char them, I'm gonna blend them down, I'm gonna cook them down. I do not need beef steaks. I don't need expensive tomatoes. I do not need anything crazy. In this case, I'm just using cheap tomatoes. Guys, use canned tomatoes, especially if it's the off season as well. Although with canned tomatoes, you can't really char them, and that's why I prefer to buy whole tomatoes. Also, my friends, you might be asking me, is this step of charring the tomatoes, of charring the vegetables for the sauce, is it even essential to begin with? And my answer is absolutely not. If you want to put in the effort of getting it nice and smoky and delicious, go ahead and be my guest. If you've decided that this is too much effort for you, then do not do it. Just do not do it in that case, guys. Do whatever makes the most amount of sense in your kitchen. It's a Sunday, I want to put in a little bit more effort, I want to make a really beautiful tomato sauce, this is a cooking show. You can absolutely omit this step. Nothing that I am showing you right now is things that you absolutely have to respect, guys, because cooking is relative to your intentions. If your intention is to go all out, make a smoky sauce, then let's do this method. If it's not, then you can go ahead and skip ahead. Can I please get a yes, chef? So, my friends, once again, this is going to be for my sauce for the ratatouille. These are my bell peppers, my red bell pepper, and my tomato. I chose the red bell pepper because it's sweet. The green bell pepper is actually just going to be in the trinity portion itself. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this under the broiler. I'm going to go ahead and throw it under the broiler. Going to get it nice and charred, nice and smoky. We're going to properly blacken it. We're not just going to get it cooked. We're going to properly and beautifully char it, my friends. So let's go ahead and get it inside. There you go. And we're gonna go ahead and get that nice and charred and delicious for us later today. Guys, broiler safety. I need you all to lock in. I need you all to tap in. A broiler is a super hot heating element from the top of the oven. If you walk away, you might accidentally catch something on fire. So we're never walking out of the kitchen, right? We're never really leaving this vicinity, and we're going to be checking it every 2 minutes. You don't have to worry about opening and closing the oven because at the end of the day, a broiler is only about that hot element on top and it's not about the air temperature of the oven. So open it as much as you would like. I'm also going to be turning on my AC really quickly just to get this place nice and cool. And we will go ahead and move on with the trinity, my friends. So let's go ahead and get that started. I have here a lovely collection of different vegetables, and we will talk about this again and again and again. Everybody, for different cuisines, they have different aromatic bases. In French cooking, you have the mirepoix, the carrots, the onions, and the celery. In a lot of Latin American cooking, they do different sofritos, right? They do different bases. Some of it with bell pepper, some of it with spicy chilies, with cilantro, with tomato, that kind of thing. It completely depends on the cuisine of origin that you're doing this, but almost every single existing cuisine has their own aromatic base. And this, my friends, if you're making Cajun Creole food, to make it taste like Cajun Creole food, you need green bell peppers, you need celery, and you need onions. It's really similar to a French mirepoix, except instead of carrots, we have the green bell peppers. Do you have to use exactly these vegetables? No. Make it your own. But if your goal is to make it taste Cajun and Creole, these are the different vegetables that we will be using, my friends. Okay, is that clear? Can I please get a yes, chef? I want to make sure that all of you understand. And so we'll be processing it, we'll be dicing it up super, super fine, and then we're going to go ahead and assemble it. This is the Holy Trinity, as well as garlic, because you guys, you can't have Cajun Creole cooking without plenty of garlic. So let's go ahead and get that started. We're gonna start off with, let's do the celery first. Let's do my celery, and let's go ahead and get a nice big bowl ready to go. Nice big bowl to contain all of my chopped up vegetables, or soon to be chopped up, that is. And I'm gonna go ahead and glove up so I get to protect my poor dainty eczema-ridden hands. Okie dokie. Guys, this is gonna be present inside of the, ratatouille. It's also going to be inside of the sauce that we're doing for the shrimp, okay? You cannot have Cajun Creole cooking without this Holy Trinity. So we have our celery, my friends. And so my goal is to get this into a super fine dice. I don't want big chunks of this. I want this to essentially dissolve. I want it to be so fine that it effectively melts into the dishes that we're doing today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start by taking the celery, cutting it in half lengthwise. And now, guys, let's go ahead and get a bunch of little batons. Thin, 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 thin batons of celery. Just like so. All the way through, all the way through, all the way through. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and do that with each of my celery sticks, guys. I want it to be thin, and I want it to properly melt. Thin, 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 thin. Okay, beautiful. Guys, look at my batons. Aren't these beautiful batons? Nice and straight, done well. Take your time, guys. Make it nice and pretty. This is the kind of thing that, yeah, I do want to pay attention to my knife skills because I do want it to go ahead and melt on into the dish. Guys, I used to be a bit of a celery hater. I used to not love cooking with celery. As of late, I can't get enough of it. I think I just hate big chunks of celery in something like a soup. I just find it to be pretty overpowering. But Georgian cooking and Cajun cooking, they've made me really fall in love with celery. Okay, guys, so we are going to go ahead and get a half stack of each. Guys, when it comes to knife skills, you need to know your hands. You need to know your paws. The biggest mistake that I can make is to cut it all in a big mound like this. You do this, and then all of the food is just gonna fall apart. You have to consider how big and how agile your hand is. Stack it up, right? And I know that this is still even a little too big for my hands, so put a couple of them away. Stack it up. And now, guys, let's go ahead and get a nice fine dice. All the way through. Oop, this guy's just slipped in whole, that's okay. Beautiful, just like this, my friends. A nice, fine dice. I want this to melt into the stew. I want it to melt into the shrimp today, my friends. This is the base, the heart, and the soul of so much incredible Cajun and Creole cooking. Again, is it essential? Is it imperative that you use this for Cajun Creole cooking? The world will live and the world will continue spinning without it, but it's still just not going to have that same oomph, right? Okay, guys, so that's all of my celery. Oh, Jack, I'm happy to hear it. I'm glad the onion tip worked for you. Let's go ahead and pick up all of the celery and put it into my bowl. And that's the bowl where all of the, trinity is actually going to end up going. And as always, guys, if you have any and all cooking questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. I'm here to teach you. That's you. I'm here to teach you how to cook. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and take out the vegetables from under the broiler. We got them now nice and beautifully charred, I think, because we can smell it. I can smell how smoky it is. And that is exactly what I'm looking for, guys. That is precisely what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for it to be completely cooked. I just want it to get nice and blackened. And so we're going to go ahead and cool it off. And once it's cooled off, we will be turning it into a lovely, little sauce for the ratatouille today. I don't know. I think there is like a Creole Ratatouille dish. It might also use some chayote. So what do I think of those onion chopping tools that look like a comb with long metal spines? Hachirisu, I'm not actually sure what you're talking about here. So, Cloud9 Sab, amazing question that you just asked me. What makes Creole food distinct to French and African food? Amazing, amazing question. Okay, so Creole cooking is specifically the intersection between 3 different cuisines: French cooking, African cooking, as well as the previous indigenous cooking, or rather using the indigenous American ingredients. Okay, and so the first thing that I want to say that makes it distinct from French and African food is the presence of tomato. Cajun cooking didn't have tomatoes. Creole cooking has tomatoes. Cajun means country. Creole is specifically New Orleans, and specifically the New Orleans city. Once New Orleans started getting in tomatoes, because tomatoes weren't particularly grown in that region, that became distinguished as Creole cooking. So Creole, again, is the intersection between the indigenous, like country, of like the Louisiana people, right? French cooking and African cooking. The dishes, oftentimes, you have things like braised and cooked down greens, right? Which are very, very like African. You're using this onion, celery, and bell pepper base instead of carrots, onions, and celery, right? So the presence of peppers, it's hard to say because it's like there's so many different specific dishes. It's also incredibly seafood focused, right? You have crawfish, you have mussels, you have oysters, but a lot of them are, the American origin ones. So I feel like that's like a lot of the, specific like distinguishments. But it's a lot of like French cooking technique. It's a lot of sort of like African-based dishes and using a lot of indigenous ingredients. I don't know if that answered your question at all. I know that was a bit of a tangent. It's just such a difficult question to give you like an objective answer to. Okay, guys. Wrong scene, my bad. We have the rest of the celery, my friends. Let's go ahead and continue just dicing and dicing and dicing until all of my celery is beautifully processed. So like again, like what is distinguishing this from a French ratatouille? It's the presence of the Cajun trinity, right? The Creole trinity. I use Cajun and Creole interchangeably when I talk about the trinity itself, but what actually makes a dish specifically Creole is, I believe, just like the presence of tomato. They're oftentimes used interchangeably, and not a lot of people will get too mad about that. And then, of course, the existence of the sage in here. I feel like sage is an incredibly common herb used in a lot of Cajun and Creole cooking. Chef, what do I think of the slap chop? So, no droid. I actually have an answer for you. So, I used to be a slap chop hater. I used to be, and I'm going to tell you why I'm actually not a hater anymore. I used to be a bit of a slap chop hater, and I was like, oh, nobody needs this, just use a food processor or use a knife. And then I realized something. So, I work with special needs teens and adults. I teach them how to cook. I teach special needs teens and adults how to cook. Oftentimes, a food processor, it's very big, it's very clunky to wash, and it's kind of hard to do small batches of vegetables inside of it. We have one specific student, I'm not going to name him by name, of course, for his privacy, but he, he struggles with some motor skills to the extent that he cannot use a knife, right? And I would like for him to be able to do something seated. And we don't have necessarily enough vegetables for somebody like him to, go ahead and justify the use of a food processor for it. And so he brings in, like a slap chop inspired device. It's some other brand that does it for him. And that's what he's able to use to effectively dice up celery, onions, that sort of thing. And so my answer has actually changed. I've realized there is a place for it. The way that I've always thought about it was like, oh, a food processor is objectively the best accessibility measure here. But when it comes to very small amounts of vegetables, as you sometimes need, I think a slap chop has a lot of merit in the accessibility space. So I hope that answered your question. So I used to be a bit of a hater. I was always like, nobody actually needs this thing. I think there is a very specific group of people that actually do need it. That is something that he is able to do, and he was able to use, and he was able to get involved with the thing that we were cooking as a result. And so I think I've sort of matured and I've sort of grown up in my opinion of the slap chop as a result. Does that answer your question, Noidroid? Okay, guys, we have our lovely green bell pepper here. This is, of course, again, just going to be peeled up the same way that we did the red pepper, guys. So all that we do, we just take it and we just shave down the sides. We take it and we shave down the sides. Nice and easy. And we leave all of the white spongy part on the inside. Shave it down, shave it down, shave it down. Beautiful. And let's just go ahead and get that into my waste bowl. As always, guys, I have a separate waste bowl with all of my scraps, all the different things that we're not going to need for today. And let's go ahead and shave this bad boy down and shave it down again and shave it down and shave the last one down. Beautiful. This one isn't lying like a flat plank, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it once more like this. Okay, my friends, we have a bunch of planks of bell pepper here. And so let's go ahead and do the same exact thing that we did with the celery now, which is just to go ahead and get this cut up into batons. I'm actually going to just clean up my cutting board a little bit because we have so many vegetable pieces on it that it's getting a little overcrowded. Guys, do not overcrowd your cutting board. If you're cooking at home, you typically have a small cutting board. Make sure that the other stuff that you do not need is occupying space on it. Keep your station organized. Keep it clean, keep it organized. I'm not using this knife, so let me go ahead and just put that knife away, guys. So, once again, my friends, just slice into nice, thin batons. Just like the celery. All the way through. Does anybody have any cooking questions for me in the meantime? Just slice it up, get all of our lovely strips of green bell pepper. Can't have Cajun Creole cooking without it, my friends. And let's do that with all of them. Also, by the way, there's a really huge misconception. Also, Kyle Beats, thank you so much for the prime sub. There's a really huge misconception that Cajun Creole cooking is loaded with a million different spices. People throw around like a Cajun spice blend for everything, right? And the answer is, it's actually not the case. Cajun Creole cooking is a lot of technique, it's a lot of different herbs, but it's actually a lot gentler on spices than some people would think. It's just that that impression started with specifically the Cajun technique of blackening. When you have a piece of fish, traditionally, right, there would be a specific spice blend that was used to blacken a piece of fish, to blacken a piece of chicken in a restaurant setting. And people thought that, oh, this blackening like spice blend, this Cajun spice blend, is used in everything. And they put pounds of it in their gumbos and their jambalayas. Guys, I promise you, Cajun Creole cooking has less spices than you think it does. It's a very simple cuisine. Well, not simple, it's very deep, it's a very rich cuisine, but it's all about the produce, it's all about the vegetables at the end of the day. So once again, just slicing up all of my bell peppers. In fact, I'm only thinking I might have only needed like one bell pepper for this trinity today. I might just save the rest of it for something else later on. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this little stack of bell peppers. We're gonna do this in 3 batches today. Yeah, I think the 1 bell pepper is actually gonna be plenty for this dish. Okay, guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it a very small, fine dice, just like the celery. Because the goal is not to bite into these, my friends. The goal is for it to melt down and become one with the sauce. Okay, Patricia, you said, when would orange or yellow bell peppers be better than red or green? Orange and yellow ones, I find that the okay, again, I need somebody to fact check me on this. I find that they taste almost identical to red ones, sometimes less sweet. And so the answer is, whenever you would use a red bell pepper, you can also use an orange or yellow one. But green bell peppers are the ones that you like, you know, that's for like a very savory use. You make a sauce out of them, you make a salsa, you cook it down, it's very vegetal. It's not very sweet tasting. So I would use orange and yellow ones for like a salad, or like for like whole sauteed peppers or something, or stuffed peppers. And the green ones you typically dice and you like cook with. Does that make sense? Okay, but I don't cook with orange or yellow ones because they tend to be much more expensive than the red and green ones. And so whenever I want a sweet bell pepper, I go ahead and I just buy red ones, just purely because it's cheaper. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and bundle this up. Let's gather it up. My beautiful bundle of bell peppers. Let's stack it up nice and straight. And once again, guys, what are we looking for, chat? What kind of a dice? I want to hear the answer while I take a sip of water. What kind of a dice, chat? Fine chef, small chef, that's what I'm talking about. A nice, beautiful, fine dice, my friends. Nice and thin, all the way through. Because the goal is not for us to bite into this. The goal is for this to melt into everything else that we're cooking with it. All the way through, my friends, all the way through. And again, if it's not 100% perfect, that's okay too. Guys, let's be honest. We're doing a vegetable stew here. If you wanted to, you could throw everything into the food processor and be done with it, if you don't want to put in this kind of time. But the reason we're using a knife is because it tends to crush the produce less. And when it's crushed less, it does end up browning up in a pan better. But at the end of the day, put in as much effort as is reasonable for your intentions. I like cutting things, I like making it nice and pretty, and I like how optimal it is for sauteing. You can use a food processor, you can just hack away at it, you can get big chunks. It's not going to be optimal, but it will be easier. So think about the amount of effort that you want to put inside. So guys, the more love we give it, the better it's going to be, but it's not like this makes or breaks the dish. If we did a medium dice, it would still be delicious at the end of the day. In fact, you would just get a different dish, right? Because then you'd be able to bite into the chunks of them. And that might be what you're looking for, I don't know. Okay. And getting all of that chopped down, my friends, nice and fine. Once again, beautiful. Just feeding it, feeding it, feeding it. And that is all of my bell pepper ready to go. And it's all going to go into the same bowl as the celery and the rest of the bell pepper and the onion. Guys, it is so essential. I need everybody to tap in. I need to make sure that everybody's listening to this. It is so essential that when you're cooking, that you are organizing everything beforehand, that you're doing the prep beforehand. This is a concept that in French is called mise en place. Basically, you want to get everything out on the table, you want to get everything ready to go. You don't want to be dashing between a stove and a cutting board, chop something, stove and a cutting board, trash can. Get your prep done beforehand, and then cooking is going to be so much easier. Is ratatouille soup? No, Alison Ryan. When I say stew, it's more like the vegetables were stewed, but it's not like in a broth, it's not like a soup or anything. Although, I'm sure that you could make an amazing ratatouille-inspired soup. You could literally use all of the ingredients inside of a ratatouille, and then just add some chicken stock and make a vegetable soup that was built off of a ratatouille, right? Wouldn't that be so fun? So traditionally, it's not a soup, it's stewed vegetables, but have fun with it. Have fun with the format. It's a peasant dish. It's nothing noble, my friends. Just have fun with it. So, bell peppers, some celery, and let's go ahead and get some onions in. And that, guys, that is the beauty of cooking, that you have potential for so much inspiration, that there's so much that you can do. So, Noidre, you ask me, oh, Noid, one of my favorite questions that you could ask me. You asked me, can you pre-chop a bunch of mirepoix or trinity and keep it in a Tupperware? And here's my answer for you. Here's what I'm going to say to you, my friend. I'm going to tell you, no, you cannot. And let me explain to you why. In cooking, there is such a thing as destructive prep and non-destructive prep. I don't know if somebody else said those, but I came up with it myself, and thus that is now a patented Daramgar term. Destructive prep and non-destructive prep. Non-destructive prep is, I don't know, washing and scrubbing a carrot and putting it in your fridge. Destructive prep is then chopping the carrot. So what happens when you chop a vegetable and you let it sit by itself? What happens? It slowly but surely squeezes out some liquid, it turns a little bit softer, it just starts to lose a little bit of quality. Once it starts releasing liquid, it doesn't fry as well into the pan itself. Okay? And so, the more that you process, the more that you chop something, the more it sort of spoils in the fridge, and the more, not like, when I say spoil, I don't just mean it's dangerous to eat, I also mean it loses quality that you could then like cook with it later on. So, here's my answer for you. Could you theoretically save a lot of time, make a bunch of mirepoix and keep it in the fridge, especially if you're cooking every day with it? You can. The longer that it sits, the more difficult it's going to be to cook with, because it quite literally loses flavor over time and it gets wet. It becomes wetter. It soon becomes immersed in a pool of its own liquid. Okay? And so, that's why I only exclusively fresh chop my mirepoix. Yep, that's right, compromising the cell walls, you have a lot more surface area on them. Absolutely, Noid. You got it. So, the answer is, it's entirely dependent on how much effort that you want to put in. I highly advise and highly argue that you should go ahead and do this only as you're cooking. Is there a way to freeze carrot without it going soggy? Pachirisu? No, because destructive prep and non-destructive prep. Generally speaking, though, so let's explain this really quickly. Why do vegetables get soggy in the freezer? Does anybody know? Is there anybody in chat who knows? Why does freezing something actually ruin raw produce oftentimes? And how do you actually mitigate that? Does anybody in here know? Ice breaks cells really, really close. Big ice crystals. That's right. Okay, everybody, I'm going to blow your minds really quickly. I'm going to blow all of your minds collectively. I need everybody to tap in. This is something that you may know, but I'm going to blow all of your minds. I need everybody to say, yes, chef. I need to make sure that all of you are listening. The slower that you freeze something, the bigger your ice crystals. The faster that you freeze something, the smaller the ice crystals. Guys, do you know what it means for a fish to be sushi grade? All that it means is that it was frozen after being caught so that it kills the parasites. It doesn't kill bacteria, it just kills parasites. They freeze fish in super, super cold freezers. They flash freeze it in the coldest possible ones so that the ice crystals that form are so, so, so tiny that it doesn't destroy the texture in the flesh of the fish itself. You try to catch a piece of fish, and in your home freezer, you freeze it and then you thaw it out, and your fish is going to be slightly mushy. Your freezer at home is not cold enough to actually preserve the texture of things particularly well. It holds on to cooked food well, stews, soups, that kind of thing. And food that's already been frozen, if you buy something and it's already been frozen, it's typically frozen in something industrial and something that's a lot colder than your freezer at home. That has less damaged cells because the ice crystals are a lot smaller. Your home freezer sucks at freezing things that weren't already frozen. Your home freezer is best to keep things that you bought that were already frozen. And so that's why I don't particularly freeze things like vegetables, raw produce, that type of stuff. I freeze stews, I freeze soups, things that do reheat quite well, and I don't really care about the damage that the ice crystals would do. So, was that interesting? Did you guys care about that? I don't know if, I don't know, I just think that's really, really cool. I just think that's fascinating. I think that's really, really fascinating. Like why? Like buying frozen food from a grocery store isn't completely destroyed in texture. Okay, let's go ahead and go back, my friends, to the Trinity. We're almost done. We're gonna do 1.5 onions because guys, you can't have too much onion. You can't have too much allium. So let's go ahead and we're going to do the onion fan method. Excuse me. The onion fan method, everybody. We're going to go in, root attached, and we're going to make a bunch of little incisions, keeping it attached to the root. We're making a lovely fan of onions, my friend. It's gonna get fanned out and it's gonna be great. Fan of onions, fan of onions, fan of onions. Nice and thin slices all the way through. Okay, guys, and once we're at the end of it, here's what we do, my friends. I'm going to actually adjust my camera for this. I'm gonna show you all how this is done. Oh, don't look at that. There you go. So, guys, all we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hold the onion here, hold it to the edge of the table, and then we're going to keep our hand nice and flat on top. Nice and flat on top, and we're going to go ahead and with like a sawing motion, go in and make an incision all the way, and go up here and make an incision all the way. Beautiful. And now, my friends, once we actually get back to the dicing of Mr. Onion, we can go ahead and get a beautiful, fine dice on the allium. And guys, once the cutting board gets crowded, all we do, we just take a bench scraper, scoop it up, clean up our station, and then keep it going. Guys, we don't have a massive butcher block. We don't have a massive cutting board. I have a small Epicurean wood cutting board. And so, we're cleaning it off often. Okay? We're cleaning it off just to make sure that we don't chop things multiple times, so we keep our station nice and organized, nice and clean and easy to use. So let's go ahead and continue slicing off our onion. Beautiful, and then the onion root goes into my trash bowl. And now, my friends, let's just go ahead and scoop up all of the onion and throw it inside of my bowl. And we're gonna go ahead and do the same exact thing with one more onion. And guys, you can use any kind of onion for this. My one recommendation though, I don't like using red onions for this job. Red onions, they tend to burn a lot easier than other kinds of onions. So use a sweet onion, use a Spanish onion, use a white onion, use anything you want. You can use a leek. You could use a red onion, it just burns easier. How much of a difference does the lateral cutting do? I usually let the onion do its work with its natural layers. So V6, the answer is it just makes it even smaller, it makes it even finer. The reality is, if you were just to do the fan and then the chop, the end pieces, those tend to be too long. The incisions actually do a good job of getting the end pieces a little bit finer. So it's not essential, it's not life or death or anything, it just makes it all a little bit nicer. So you could absolutely mitigate that horizontal sawing step and you will live and you'll be fine. How's that sound to you, my friend? Also, welcome on in, V6. How'd you find the cooking show? Do I know why red onions burn more? So barbed wire, I think that just has to do with like the pigment. It might be the sugar itself. It might just be the pigment of the red onion, right? Whatever actually gives it that color, that gives it that hue. So, but I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't actually answer that question. I don't know if somebody could answer it for me. It's somebody who knows. But it's either the sugar, it's something in the onion itself. But even then, guys, just do a slightly lower heat, stir it more often, and it will still be just fine. So we got 2 more onion halves because, guys, the allium is the base of this trinity. Above all else, the most important thing is you need an allium. And the beauty of alliums is how interchangeable they are. Use a shallot, use a leek, use whatever you want, use whatever you have on hand. So guys, same exact idea, just gonna go through this and make a bunch of little parallel incisions all the way through. I'm just gonna chop off the very end of the root itself, not really compromising the texture of the onion, just to make this all a little easier. Nice and fine, nice and thin, nice and thin. And now guys, once again, same idea, hold it nice and flat, and let's go ahead and make these parallel incisions. Beautiful. Okay, I see V6, that does make sense. Is everybody still watching? I want to hear another yes, chef, please and thank you. I know that this step isn't too glamorous, my friends. We're just going through all the vegetables. It has to get done. We gotta get it done. Okay, and there's these little pieces of onion that I didn't get through. Lovely. And I'm just going to go ahead and scoop up all the onions from my cutting board, and into the bowl they go. It's a lot of effort we're putting in, it's a lot of love, a lot of affection, a lot of care. Okay, and let's go ahead and finish it up. On each of those sides and go back through. There you go. Food is art, kind of barbed wire. So I don't actually entirely agree with you. I'm going to explain to you why. I don't actually believe food is art, at first at least. So the way that all creative fields get born is because it is first, it is almost like in response to when a function has been solved first. The origin of food itself didn't start artistically. The origin of food was, hey, how do we make these things edible? How do we cook things down so that we get to have more of it in us? How do we make something safe to eat? How do we make something actually palatable enough to eat because people need to eat? So that was the first function of food, and then later on, people are then able to take creative liberties because in that way, that solution has already been found. But a lot of my cooking, I think above all else, I don't consider it artistic, I consider it functional. My creativity comes in with what kind of techniques am I applying? Why am I doing them? But all of my cooking is entirely problem solving. What is a problem I'm trying to solve? Well, we're cooking at home, I want to use up things that I already have at home. Okay? What are the different things I'm looking to fulfill? Yes, people use, well, it's rather that like once something is solved, once you've actually gotten a solution for something, then you can start making creative choices. But all of my creative choices, I never really consider myself as much of an artist as I am just, I have different intentions. I'm looking to solve them. I consider myself more of a problem solver. On an old topic, are there other unitaskers like the slap chop that you think are good? Yes, so let me tell you, V6. A lot of the hate for unitaskers is because of Mr. Alton Brown. For 2 generations of people, he talked about his hatred and dislike of unitasking devices. He talked about it on Vice, that was the 2nd generation, and the 1st generation was on Good Eats. I love unitaskers if you use them enough. I use garlic all the time. Thus, I have a garlic press. As long as you're doing something enough, get a specialized tool to make that job a little bit easier. So I love unitaskers, as long as it's something that's not a complete waste of money, something that doesn't break easily, and something that you just use all the time. If if you're not doing that task that often, then you can just use a generic tool like a knife. So, but the garlic press would be something that's called a unitasker. Garlic presses are extremely controversial. I think everybody needs a garlic press because I cannot stand chopping garlic. It's sticky, it's uncomfortable, and it's just so inefficient. Okay, all of these onions. Once again, as my cutting board gets crowded, I'm just gonna be cleaning up my station. Guys, I know that this is a laborious process. We'll do a bit of a recap in just a second. But yeah, I love my garlic press. What else do I really like? You know, I'd consider a microplane, honestly, a pretty, it's like a unitasker, right? It's kind of only good for Parmesan and nutmeg. Why is it controversial? Who cares? Cloud9, a bunch of bad faith food content creators that have no idea what they're talking about, that have these bizarre ideals without actually thinking about why they're doing what they're doing, will say, oh, I hate garlic presses. I think, even Anthony Bourdain said something about garlic presses. A citrus juicer, another one. I love citrus juicers. Absolutely, Tuna. Is an egg slicer. Yes, because eggs are sticky. Eggs are absolutely sticky. Or even better, getting a cheese board with a like a little wire attached to it to get slices of cheese. Because cheese is so sticky, it doesn't like thick blades. You can also use that for hard-boiled eggs. So absolutely, I think egg slicers are very nice to have for people. Because the yolk is just sticky and it's messy. Potato strainer, yeah, you're talking about a ricer, Jack. Yeah, I think ricers, if you make mashed potatoes enough, those are very useful to have. Love a good ricer. Okay, guys, all of my onion has now been officially prepped. All of it is officially ready to go. And this, my friends, is my trinity. Guys, today is going to be a bit of a long stream. Is everybody ready for that? I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please, and thank you. If you're ready for a long stream today. Okay? So, my friends, let's go ahead and now that my vegetables have properly cooled down, we're going to go ahead and do the sauce for today. So, these are my red bell peppers, my tomatoes. Guys, why did I cool this down first? I don't have a Vitamix, I don't have an open top blender, I have only like a NutriBullet, and thus to use a NutriBullet, you have to let everything cool down. It can't blend hot things because it builds up too much pressure inside of this device. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and take each of my vegetables and just throw it inside. Maybe something that's not my hands would have been a better tool, but that's okay too. All of my tomatoes, all of my peppers, get everything in there. There you go. And it's okay if it's like super, super full. It's all gonna get broken down. And just wash my hands off of all of that acidity. And then we'll go ahead and do a bit of a recap session. Okie dokie. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of this sheet tray. And as always, guys, I did that on aluminum foil just to make my cleanup later on a lot easier. Beautiful. And I'll put my sheet tray away. And let's go ahead and grab a little cutting board just so that I can go ahead and set my blender on. Got my NutriBullet, got it ready to go. This is not a very good blender, guys. I would kill for a Vitamix one day. Cough, cough, exclamation mark, wish list. Also, Shazio, that's okay. It's lovely to have you anyways. There is no pressure for anybody to be here on time. Guys, get here when you get here, and it's lovely to have all of you nonetheless. So, my charred tomatoes, guys, my charred bell peppers, this is gonna be the base of our ratatouille. But we're doing a Creole Ratatouille. And blend it. And that should be good, guys. All that we needed was to get it nice and smooth. And this, my friends, this is the sauce of the ratatouille. And it's smoky because we charred the vegetables. We took the inspiration from Mexican cooking, my friends. I love Mexican food. It is one of my favorite cuisines. I take so much inspiration from the techniques and methods and ideas and theories of it. And so, everybody, let's go ahead and do a bit of a recap session. First and foremost, is everybody still watching? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, please. And thank you. My friends, we are doing today 2 dishes, well technically 3 dishes. One of them is just meant to be eaten together. We're going to be doing a shrimp and grits as well as a lovely delicious Creole inspired ratatouille. excuse me. My fault, guys. We're gonna be doing a Cajun Creole Ratatouille, and then we'll also be doing a really, really delicious shrimp and grits. And so at the moment, in my pressure cooker, we broke down a whole chicken. We're making a chicken stock out of vegetable scraps and my chicken bones. Everybody, go ahead and take a look. This is known as the Cajun Creole Trinity. This is the holy, holy trinity of all Cajun and Creole cooking. It's an aromatic base of celery, onions, and bell pepper. Cajun and Creole food has all of it, and it uses it constantly in so many different dishes. This is specifically going to be used in both the shrimp and the ratatouille today, my friends. And this is what gives a lot of Cajun and Creole food its iconic taste and flavor. You quite literally cannot have Cajun Creole food without this. Cajun refers to like the countryside, basically outside of New Orleans itself, and then Creole specifically refers to within New Orleans. Because a lot of Cajun cooking is very like French and indigenous, and New Orleans cooking specifically has a lot more of like, its African roots, and it also features tomatoes and other produce. But they're oftentimes used interchangeably. So guys, the bell pepper, the onions, and the celery. Polenta and grits are the same thing, correct? Robert Bob, yes and no. People sometimes use them interchangeably. The thing is this, there is no exact definition, there is only typically like typical definitions. So especially with food language, a lot of interchangeable words are used. Grits tend to refer to white corn. Polenta tends to refer to yellow corn. Both of them very coarsely ground. Okay, and polenta, of course, refers to just like the Italian polenta, right? Grits, the southern one made from white corn. And you could use them interchangeably. It's just, again, a matter of language and who you're speaking to. Okay, so this is all mixed up, my friends. And then the other thing that we've gotten prepared is this bad boy right here. This is the sauce for the ratatouille, guys. This was charred and blended red peppers and tomatoes. I love Mexican cooking. I take so much inspiration from Mexican cooking. This is what you do for salsas, for stews, for soups. You char your ingredients. We charred the tomatoes and bell pepper under the broiler, got it nice and smoky. Smells amazing, got it blended down, and this, my friends, is gonna be the base of the ratatouille. It's gonna be awesome. Okie dokie. Everybody, for those of you that haven't already done so, by the way, please check out my Patreon. You can type in ! Patreon. I strongly believe in information being free. I want to keep the show without advertisements. I turned off the Twitch ads. I'm not going to take any sponsorships. I want to keep it nice and free for everybody to watch. And so all of that I ask is if anybody here has some like extra change, if anybody here has some like extra money, the Patreon is a very nice way of directly supporting the show, because I firmly believe that this kind of information should be free for everybody to watch, and anybody that wants to pay to help support the show is purely voluntary. You will not be buying any exclusive content. I do not believe in paywalling information. I don't believe in paywalling content. You guys are still gonna get everything for free anyways. Okay? All that I ask is that you go ahead, if you're financially able to do so, to please support me on the Patreon. I'm gonna go ahead and put my vegetables behind me. And now, my friends, let's go ahead and do the rest of the prep for today. I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly wipe down my station. But yeah, I strongly believe information in this day and age, music, art, anything written, anything that's a live broadcast, anything that's a video, it should be free to consume. The people that made it should get paid for making it, right? But people should not be profiting off of the reproduction, right? And so, that's what I want to do. I want to keep this as pure and with as much integrity as possible. Okay, my friends, let's go ahead and now begin breaking down the rest of the vegetables for my incredible ratatouille today. So, I have here the essential ones, right, which is eggplant, and then also some zucchini, and then I'm also adding in some chilies because some spice is always nice, and I just had some chilies that I wanted to get rid of. So, we're going to start by peeling my eggplant. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the head, and I'm going to go ahead and cut off the bottom of the eggplant. Okay, and then we're going to make sure that we have a nice plate to put all of our eggplant on. Great cooking so far. Thank you, Vigmont. That's very sweet of you. So let's go ahead and get all of my eggplant nice and peeled up, guys. It was just lightly washed, using a vegetable peeler, going in and getting all of this stuff off. Not the world's freshest eggplant, but that's totally okay. There you go. All of it done, all of it dealt with, all of it peeled, and all of it ready to go for today. And I'm only using, one eggplant for this. I didn't want this to become a super eggplant heavy ratatouille. I wanted to kind of be all about the squash and all about my trinity for today. Okay? And the eggplant, I'm going to keep it separate from the squashes because the eggplant, I'm going to add it later on and I'm going to add it separately. I've never had an eggplant. Is there a taste you can compare it to? Alison Ryan. So people typically, when they talk about eggplant, they describe it as having an almost meaty quality. I don't really know how else to describe the taste of it aside from that. Eggplant, my favorite way. If you've never had eggplant before, Alison Ryan, I recommend baba ganoush. Baba ganoush is the best way to get into eggplant. It's an incredible dip. It's super delicious. Okay, guys, so now we want to go ahead and we want to get a small dice on the eggplant. The eggplant is the one that I basically half wanted to dissolve and cook into the sauce, okay? But I still want a couple of little pieces. Eggplant is very easy to undercook, my friends. The eggplant is the part that needs to cook the longest. This channel rules, Igloo. That's very sweet of you. How'd you find the show? It's lovely to have you. Are there any vegetable scraps you would not use in a cooking stock? Asks V6. And the answer is yes. Potato scraps, squash peels, squash scraps, that kind of thing. They're not very aromatic. Any starchy vegetable I wouldn't really use inside of a stock as well. Otherwise, bell peppers, onions, celery, anything that's, as long as it's an aromatic vegetable, I would use it inside. I would also not really use like brassica scraps. I wouldn't use broccoli scraps, cauliflower scraps, cabbage scraps, because they can get a little bit smelly with a little bit of cooking. And there's some scientific reasons for that. You can check out America's Test Kitchen video on cauliflower and about like the smell that sort of gets produced 40 minutes into cooking. And so I wouldn't use those for the stock either. You could make a cabbage stock though, although it's like a very Russian thing, it's a very Eastern European thing, it takes a lot of time. The best cooking show on Twitch, that's right, so welcome on in. Eggplant, my friends. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start by cutting this bad boy into some nice slices. So, I need you all to tap in. I need you all to lock into this because I'm going to show you something that will potentially blow your mind. Is everybody ready for this? First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice this in half just so that it stays nice and flat. So, my friends, how many of you have decided I'm going to go ahead and just chop? Also, Igloo, I'm going to have you say yes, chef a bunch of times. Is everybody paying attention? I want to hear a yes, chef. This is the kind of obedience that we need from all of my lovely watchers. That's all that I ask in return. Guys, how many of you have tried to ever like chop something, especially when it's tall? Let's say like this, and you chop it, and your knife slides out. Look, your knife slid out, and you're not able to go ahead and get a nice little piece. And the reason for that is because you are not slicing. If you chop it, and you go down like this, your knife cleaves out. You have to slice it using the full length of the knife. So guys, I'm not doing this motion because you can see it just pops out. With a super sharp knife, we slice it, my friends. We slice it, my friends. We slice it and we slice it and we slice it and we slice it just like this. And by slicing it, the knife doesn't pop out and we get beautiful flat planks of eggplant, guys. Okay, and let's go ahead and do the same thing with this one. We slice it, we pull the knife. We're using minimal vertical force to get through the vegetable. Okay, and I'm looking for a small dice today. And now guys, once we've gotten it to this stage, we're gonna go ahead and take each of them and cut them into strips, right? Just like this. There you go. And now we can just go ahead and just take this stack and stack it up because all of that is the same width. And guys, we're getting these lovely little batons of eggplant. The eggplant, I'm cutting the smallest of all the vegetables because I'm looking for the eggplant to almost break down. Because the eggplant itself, it gets a little bit spongy. I love it when it really contributes its flavor into the whole stew. I don't love massive pieces of eggplant inside of something like this. Okay, it's really fleshy, it's really, really delicious. You just have to give it a lot of respect and a lot of love. So let's keep making batons of eggplant, guys. 1 and 2, beautiful. And let's go ahead and keep making these batons of eggplant, guys. Batons, batons, batons. All the way through. Lovely. Does anybody have any cooking questions for me in the meantime? And there you go, guys. Look at this incredible pile of eggplant now. All that we have to go ahead and do is just take a little stack of eggplant, stack them up nice and flat. And again, guys, I'm just looking for a small dice. Not paper thin, just a small dice. Something that can still properly saute when we need it to. Beautiful. Look at all that eggplant, my friends. Look at how perfect my little cubes are. Don't these cubes look good? I want to hear yes, chef, please and thank you. Beautiful cubes of eggplant. Gonna cook up nice and evenly inside of my ratatouille. Okay, and just keep it going and keep it going, keep it going. Lovely. And guys, as always, it doesn't just have to be about this dish. I'm here to help teach you how to cook at home. I'm not here to teach you novelty dishes. The beauty of a ratatouille is that this reheats incredibly well. You can go ahead and make a big batch of it and then eat it throughout the week. It's incredibly transportable because it's not too wet. It's easy to reheat. You can probably eat it cold and still enjoy it. Okay? I really recommend that this is a dish that people make for themselves at home. Also, I think that's a delivery. Hello? I did get a delivery in the middle of the stream, as always. Okay, dokie. We did good. We had a few streams without deliveries, so we did quite well. How do I peel the eggplant? Using a nice sharp vegetable peeler. We just slice off the tops and the bottoms, and we use a vegetable peeler, and that was it. Nice and easy. Nothing too crazy. Guys, we had a good run for a little bit, okay? We had a good run. Lovely little cubes. Get them all chopped up. Guys, today is going to be a nice long stream, but we're in it for the long haul. Okay. And there we go. It almost looks like pepper jack. Once like eggplant is cubed like this, oh my god, can you imagine how mean that would be? If you like offer like a cheese board and then you just have like a eggplant that you cut into a square and then you said this is pepper jack, that would be evil. Other side of the line, yes, the chicken stock. The chicken stock is currently going while we're doing the eggplant. That would be like diabolical. That would be horrible. I gotta do that to somebody. Like, Nally, look at this, Nally, look at this piece. Doesn't this almost look like pepper jack? Right? A little bit. All right, guys. Glad I've given you all some inspiration. Oh yeah, you know, pepper jack. Those are just little peppers in there, of course. Ugh, evil. Okay. That's like putting dog meds in cheese whiz. I guess. Okay, little cubes all the way through. Sorry, I snort laughed. That's a very like learned behavior, by the way. It's a very Eastern European thing. It's a very Russian thing. My family grew up snort laughing, right? And so every now and then I catch it. I catch it and I do that. And it just, I don't know, I feel like my mom when I do that sometimes. Okay, very last batch of eggplants, my friends. There you go. And let's just go ahead and get these bad boys nice and cubed up and ready to go. Lovely. All of them done. And let's go, last few. Guys, we have a lot of vegetable prep to do today. We're in it for the long haul. Today's gonna be a busy day, and that's okay. Okay, and that's all of my eggplants. Lovely. Let's get that all onto my plate that's slightly too small so the vegetables are, you know, perhaps spilling out of it, but that's okay. Guys, by the way, eggplant sometimes tends to be a little bit bitter. To get out some of the bitterness, a really good technique is salting it. Right? I'm only using one eggplant, but I'm still gonna go ahead and do the salting method. So let me just go ahead and show you how to do that, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and set up a bowl with a strainer. Just like this. That's my bowl, and that's my strainer. And we just pre-salt this eggplant, guys, and that's going to get rid of a lot of the excess moisture so that it's able to brown easier. Okay, it's gonna get like a little bit sweaty almost. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of some of the bitterness from it. You can never rush good cooking, that's right. Now, is this a completely necessary step? No, this is a bit of an old step. It's a bit of like, you know, just kind of like old knowledge here, right? But I just think it's a very nice thing that you can do. Yeah, that's right, Nifty Biz. Well, thank you for being so understanding. That's very sweet of you. Okay, let's go ahead and get a little bit of salt inside. And by a little bit of salt, I do mean a hefty amount. Because again, the goal is to really extract the moisture from the eggplant. And just toss it all together, guys. And we're just gonna have it sit over the strainer for a little bit and have it sit with all the salt. I'm just making sure that all of my salt is all over the eggplant. Oh wait, Tarina, I'm not sure what you just said. Oh, you can in a wok? That's right, you can do that in a wok. You like that strainer? Mine's too big? Yeah, a strainer, by the way, you can never have too many strainers at home. You can never have too many mixing bowls. So those are the ones that I really advise you to just have like a bunch of to play around with. How is it already 6:24? What? We haven't even begun cooking, guys. We haven't actually begun getting anything on the fire. And we're an hour and a half into this? Oh man. Okay, we gotta pick up the pace a little bit. I've been going slow today. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just set those vegetables behind me. I'm gonna let them strain. Guys, I have here a lovely assortment of different little squashes. Guys, summer squash is not interchangeable with, say, a butternut squash. A summer squash, you cook it identical to like a zucchini. And thus that's what I will be using for today. Okay, so I have 2 zucchini, I have 1 gray squash, and then I also have 1 yellow squash. So let's just go ahead and get everything diced on up. Guys, for these, I'm looking for slightly bigger pieces because the zucchini, it tends to fall apart as it cooks. So we don't want it to be too small because I'm not looking for my zucchini and my squash to turn into mush. Right, you could use any sort of like soft squashes like these, any sort of zucchini. Go to a farmer's market, they always have plenty of them. Right, get it nice and pretty, guys. Okay, so for these bad boys, here's the kind of a cut that we are going to do. We're going to first cut this in half. And remember how I showed you, my friends. We slice it down this way, and then I'm just going to go ahead and let's cut this into quarters. Yeah, let's do quarters. Beautiful. Again, significantly thicker than the eggplant. And there you go. That's 1. And that should be 2. Lovely. And let's go ahead and get this cubed up. But what I like to do is I like to set it nice and flat so it doesn't roll around on my cutting board. Okay? And something like these guys. This is what I'm looking for. A small pumpkin as well is nice. Yeah, except it's just like a little too starchy. And it takes like a little too long to cook for something like a ratatouille. So that's why we're using things like, you know, the zucchini and the squash and all that jazz. Okay? And I think all of that looks good. So let's go ahead and just get that transferred over to my plate. And we gotta repeat this with the rest of our squash, guys. We got a lot of squash to do. Chef, what is my stance on chemical kitchen? I have no idea what that is. Is summer squash the only type of squash that's available in this part of the world? Rajgamuz, in my part of the world, I mean, I have gray squash, I have summer squash, and I have zucchini. Those are the ones that I have. Thanks for the plug and a promo post. Carl, are you talking about in Shaq's Discord? Also, welcome on in. Lovely to have you. How'd you find the show? Okay, I got all of my zucchini inside of the plate. And let's go ahead. Oh, and guys, that pressure cooker is officially done cooking. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Okay? We're going to let it do a natural pressure release. That's our chicken stock for today. Well, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. If you'd like to check what we're doing, you can type in ! menu. And once we're done with the squash, we'll do a bit of a recap session. So we just did this stock for the grits for today. Looking great. Well, thank you, Palga. Lovely to have you. How'd you find the show? So guys, same exact one. This guy, once again, just take it, slice it up into quarters just like so. Take it and slice it into quarters. And I like having this variety. The zucchinis are the cheapest, hence why I got, 2 of those. And then like the summer squash and the gray squash were a little bit more expensive. So, once again, guys, medium thick dice here. Again, for my ratatouille, I'm not looking for these bad boys to fall apart too much. These are the chunks. These are going to be the base of the stew for today. And thus we cut them a little bit bigger than everything else. And let's go ahead and get these bad boys diced up as well. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Awesome. All done. And we have 2 more bits of squash to go through. So we have a very nice, beautiful variety. Feel free just to use whichever ones that you have available to you. Again, farmers markets, this is the ones that they really have the most of. Now this is the gray squash. It has like this really, really pretty pattern. We slice it down. We slice, slice, slice. Lovely. And once again, take it and cut it up. You know what? This piece is actually pretty huge. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut that in half, just like so. So it's not too big. Okay? And once again, guys, whenever the cutting board gets a little bit too crowded, let's just go ahead and throw that all inside. Well, you know what? It's lovely to have you, Kalu. I'm glad that got at least, I've stolen one of Shaq's, audience members. And take it and dice it and dice it and dice it. There you go. Getting all of the prep done in advance getting it done ahead of time. And now, my friends, let's go ahead and do the last of the zucchini. That's 1, and that's 2. That's 1, and that's 2. There you go. And let's dice this bad boy up. Plenty of zucchini, guys, plenty of squash. I love having a ratatouille at home once again. It's just so good just to keep in your fridge. Reheats exceptionally well. Because here's the thing, guys. Let me tell you something right now. There is this very contemporary trend where people sort of overshot in one direction. I need everybody to tap in. Can I please get a yes, chef, from everybody watching? Something happened in the 2000s or the late 90s where a lot of people, it was an overreaction, it was an over-response to especially the way that a lot of people grew up in the Midwest. They were like, I hate overcooked vegetables. Vegetables are supposed to be bright and green and crispy. And so everybody was doing like these really, really like crispy broccoli, crispy string beans, you know, all these different vegetables, except not overcooking them into mush. As a result, people have begun associating any and all soft and mushy vegetables as being innately overcooked, which is an absolute mistake. This is the kind of a dish that is meant to be soft, mushy vegetables. Guys, properly seasoned, soft, mushy vegetables can still be delicious. Okay, it all matters, it's just all about your intentions. A ratatouille is supposed to be a soft, delicious, creamy, stewed vegetable dish. And so, that's why it reheats well, because we're not looking to preserve any crispiness in these vegetables, we're looking to properly cook them all the way through. Okay, and guys, I also, not traditional in a ratatouille whatsoever, I have some chilies. We're going to go ahead and just slice up these chilies. I had these. Again, the best way to cook, guys, is when you're at home, you look at the things that you want to get rid of. I have these 2 serranos, so I'm just going to go ahead and slice them in half. I'm going to keep all of their seeds inside because I want that heat. I want that spice, my friends. I want that heat. I want that spice. I'm going to cut in half. I'm going to put on a glove, actually. Is there something you can only buy outside food? Like, could you make a kebab at home? Jack, amazing question. My answer is absolutely. Some dishes are not good in a home setting. Something like a kebab, I don't have a grill at home. I am not making 50 million skewers. I'm cooking for myself, and a kebab doesn't reheat well. I'm going to go out for a kebab. I'm not making chicken wings at home. I'm going out of my way. I'm going to B-Dubs. I'm going to Wingstop, and I'm getting some buffalo wings because I'm not deep frying at home. So absolutely, some things are cheaper for restaurants to do because they're able to buy it in bulk. Chicken wings is like one of them, right? So guys, not all food is meant to be home food. What I'm here to teach you is not how to make a dish as a novelty. I'm here to teach you things that are easy to do in a home setting, that are really, really easy to reheat. Guys, guess what? I love my B-Dubs. I am many things, but I'm not pretentious. I love my B-Dubs. I love my Taco Bell because there is a time and a place for each. I'm not going to reproduce Taco Bell at home. When I want Taco Bell, I want Taco Bell. Okay? So let's go ahead and get all of my serranos onto my plate. And guys, the last vegetable that we're going to need to prep is going to be, of course, Mr. Garlic, because you cannot have Cajun Creole food without the garlic. Now hold on. Most B-Dub sauces I think are truthfully inedible. I only go with medium. I only do medium. Sometimes Parmesan garlic. That's about all that I get. Okay. So guys, as always, as you may know, I think chopping garlic is an absolute waste of time and energy and resources. Chopping garlic is sticky, it sticks to the cutting board, it sticks to your knife, it sticks to everything and everybody involved, and so we use my favorite tool, the garlic press. And guys, this is Cajun Creole cooking. We're doing a vegetable stew today. We need a bunch, and I do mean a bunch of garlic, an aggressive amount of garlic, if you will. I make better tacos than Taco Bell, but guess what, Robert Bob? When I want Taco Bell, I want Taco Bell. Right? It's not because I want tacos that I go to Taco Bell. I go there for specifically Taco Bell. If I want tacos, I make some of the best tacos in the entire Northeast. But it's all a matter of intentions. It's similar how like a McDouble for McDonald's. You shouldn't be eating at McDonald's at the moment anyways, by the way. But a McDouble tastes like a McDouble. It doesn't taste like a burger. It doesn't taste like meat. It just tastes like a McDouble. Right? And thus, that's how I feel about Taco Bell. Actually, is Taco Bell under the protest as well? Under the boycott? I don't know. Is it? It isn't? Okay, great. Actually, never mind. We don't like Taco Bell here anymore. I haven't had Taco Bell in a considerable amount of time as well, but I just hate it even more now. Natalie, Google it, please. Natalie, fact check that. Favorite fast food brands? Well, Jack, I just gave it to you. Otherwise, Zaxby's. And Robert, because of the boycotts. That's why. My favorite fast food brand has got to be Zaxby's. Nothing is quite like Zaxby's. Okay, guys, all of my garlic cloves have now been officially skinned. We use a bench scraper just to flatten them. And now, look, they've been smashed. Now that they've been smashed, we can easily peel off the skin from each of my garlic cloves. And there you go. That's one of those bad boys. Just keep them peeling, keep them coming, get them all done, my friends. Just pop each and every single one of them out of their skin. There you go. Lovely. And just keep it going. Just keep it going, guys. Keep it going. Keep it peeling. Keep it happening. All my garlic cloves, they've got to come out. That's why we did the smashing, even if we're going to use the garlic press. That's why we went through the trouble of doing all that. Pop it out. And pop it out. What do I think of Burger King, Jack? I mean, you know, I don't... I've never really had any nostalgia for it, right? There's nothing I really want to. Yes, Natalie, is that a yes? Tell me, I can't hear you. Yeah, it's on the boycotts? Okay, never mind, guys, we don't like Taco Bell here, anymore at least. Huh? What? So is Burger King? Yeah, but that's okay, because nobody's sentimental about Burger King. Okay, that's right, Roger Moose, you tell Taco Bell, you tell them. Okay, now that we've gone ahead and gotten all of my garlic cloves nicely peeled, let's go ahead and just get all of the little bottoms cut off of them, because the bottoms have, you know, they're like a little bit dried off, right? So just take it and trim off the bottoms, take it and trim off the bottoms, just like that, and do that for each and every single one of these. Tarina Chess says, hi, Natalie, by the way. And any like rotten bits that you find on the garlic as well, let's just go ahead and trim each of these off. Beautiful, guys, just keep it going, keep it happening, and once we're done with this, we'll go ahead and do a bit of a recap session. And almost done, and almost done, and almost done. There you go. There you go. And now, my friends, let's go ahead. One of my favorite things to have at home. You've got to have little condiment cups. They're able to go ahead and keep everything nicely and beautifully organized. And then, my friends, let's go ahead and grab the best kitchen tool that was ever made, the handy dandy garlic press, and let's press each and every single one of these bad boys into oblivion. That's 1, and that's 2, and 3. These are super tiny garlic cloves today. Wow. All of them. Every single one of them has to go. And you guys can just look at me while we do that, because it's not a very exciting process, I think. Oh, I love my garlic press. Everybody needs this tool. Everybody needs this tool. There's so many people out there that hate garlic presses for no reason. Chopping garlic, like doing a rock chop. Ooh, we'll smear it with salt on the cutting board. It is such a waste of time and energy. I bet you make a mean pastrami. So, Robert, I would probably say no, because I've never really made a pastrami. But anything I do, I would make an amazing one. The reason why I haven't probably made it is because I don't really consider it amazing home food. It's like trying to make like deli meat at home. You know, and the only deli meat I ever really make is when I have like cold roast beef. Okay, everybody, all of my garlic has now been properly and beautifully pressed. Poke it with a little brush to get all of the garlic out of the holes. And now, my friends, who is ready for a recap session? I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please, and thank you. Okay, so, my friends, what are we doing today? We're going to be doing a few different dishes. We're going to be doing some shrimp and grits, and then we'll also be doing a really lovely Creole-inspired ratatouille. We're doing a ratatouille because I wanted a nice vegetable dish to go alongside my shrimp and grits, and it's something that reheats exceptionally well at home. So, excuse me. Everybody right here, we have a bowl of chopped up celery, onions, and bell peppers. This is the Cajun Creole Trinity. This is used in countless Cajun Creole dishes. It's the aromatic base and it's going to be the inside of the ratatouille itself. Okay, it's going to be in the ratatouille. It's also going to be in the sauce for the shrimp and grits. Next, I have a bunch of chopped up zucchini. Zucchini, summer squash, and gray squash all together, right? And this is going to be the base of the ratatouille. It's going to be nice and soft and tender and delicious. And then guys, because I had some leftover chilies, I'm going to make my ratatouille nice and spicy today with some serranos. Okay, and then of course you need plenty of garlic because you can't have Cajun Creole food without the garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and set that behind me. For the ratatouille, my friends, I made this incredible red bell pepper tomato sauce. We charred it. I'm really inspired by Mexican cooking. We charred the skin, blended it down, and this is gonna be added in. Okay, and last but not least, my friends, I have some eggplant that is sitting here with some salt. And so the eggplant is slowly dripping away excess liquid, but that excess liquid is quite notorious for being slightly bitter. And so every now and then, while the eggplant sits with the salt, I'm gonna just take it and I'm gonna give it like a little squeeze, and then you can see how foamy it gets. And we're gonna go ahead and get rid of all of that liquid, my friends. Just give it a squeeze. You can be rough with it. The goal for the eggplant is for this to just cook down. We're losing some flavor, but subsequently we're losing a lot of the bitterness. Guys, look at how much liquid from the eggplant we're losing in this process. You can taste it right now. It's probably really bitter, especially with such an old, seedy eggplant. Okay, so we gave it a big old squeeze, right? Put it through the strainer, and then I'm just letting it continue to do its magic, to do its thing. All of that liquid, my friends, is coming out of the eggplant. Is this completely necessary? No, especially if you have a good eggplant, it's not, but it's just something I really like doing. Okay, we broke down the chicken. The chicken stock is also officially finished, so I'm gonna go ahead and release the pressure through my pressure cooker. Is everybody doing well? Is everybody still hanging in there? I wanna hear a nice yes, chef, from everybody watching, please and thank you. I'm just cleaning up my station, getting all the stuff off of my knife. Gonna just rinse off my paring knife while I have a second. And then guys, I'm gonna show you my delectable, my delicious, my incredible homemade chicken stock. I think in the meantime though, we could probably begin cooking the ratatouille. The ratatouille is gonna be the longest to cook because once we saute it, I do wanna put it into the oven. And so I'm just thinking timing wise, do we do that now? Does that all happen now? What do you guys think? Is it time for us to make some ratatouille? Is it time? Is it finally, properly time for the ratatouille? Okay, I'm gonna use my Dutch oven for this, and we'll talk about this in just a second, as always. Alrighty, Jack, well, thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by, as always. It's lovely to have you. So guys, guess what? We're using my incredible, my lovely, my gorgeous Le Creuset Dutch oven for the job because it's a very nice tool that I can go ahead and throw on into the oven once I'm done with it. So, everybody, are you ready for my Le Creuset rant? Are you ready for my enamel Dutch oven rant? I need to hear another yes, chef. Please and thank you, because I have a lot of opinions on the subject. Because this is a kitchen tool that people notoriously abuse, that people do not know how to take care of, how to get the most use out of it, how to be gentle with it. Number one, this is enameled. You do not use metal tongs, you're not using a metal whisk, you're not using a metal fork, and you're not using a metal spoon. I have seen all kinds of professional chefs, cough, cough, Isaac Toops, right? Incredible Cajun Creole chef. And I see him use a metal whisk on his Dutch oven and it breaks my heart every time. You will destroy your enamel coating over time. Next, you never heat it up when it's empty because that can damage the enamel coating over time. So you either heat it up with water if you're boiling, or you're heating it up with, and we need a bunch of olive oil, guys. We need like this is a vegetable stew. We need some oil, okay? That is a ridiculous amount of olive oil that I've just glugged inside. Heat it up with the oil and it helps it to heat up evenly. Next rule, everybody tap in. We don't heat it up with high heat. That's for two reasons. Number one, if you heat up a cast iron pan with high heat and you do that for a minute and you think it's hot enough, you have hot spots and cool spots and the edges will be completely cold. Heat it up slowly, slowly, on a medium-low heat. Not so hot that the oil immediately begins to smoke, but by heating it up slowly on a medium-low, the whole pan gets evenly heated a lot better. When you have thick cast iron pans, Okay, thick cast iron pans. It doesn't just have to be enamel. You do super high heat, it will not be even. It's a thick chunk of metal. Thick chunk of metal, medium and slow is the way to go, as always. There's very few times in a kitchen you actually explicitly need high heat. Very few times. This is not one of them. The pan is gonna get hot enough with medium low and just a bit of time and love and energy. That's it. That's all that it takes. And so guys, my pressure cooker has finished releasing the pressure from my chicken stock. I can go ahead and show you my chicken stock, show you how golden it is, how pretty it is, all that delicious flavor as we're heating up the oil. How's that sound, guys? That sounds good? Okay, how am I gonna set this up? I think I'm just going to lift the pot up for you guys and show it to you. How's that sound? So, let's go ahead and grab my pressure cooker pot. Guys, come take a look. This is my golden, my delicious homemade chicken stock. I know it doesn't look that impressive because it's, all of like those vegetables, but this is the basis of incredible home cooking, guys. Okay? Let me tell you, store-bought chicken stocks, incredibly mediocre. Mediocre, bland, thin, not delicious at all. Okay? So, if you're not going to be doing homemade chicken stocks in a pressure cooker like that, at the very least, use something like a powdered bouillon. Use like a better than bouillon or something. Those are your options. Okay, my oil is heating up. So here's the order of operations, my friends. First thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make sure that my oven can accommodate a Dutch oven inside of it, because the Dutch oven is going to go from the stove into the oven to let the vegetables stew so that it is out of sight and out of mind a little bit. The first step that we're going to do, my friends, is to properly saute my aromatics. And specifically, we're talking about sauteing this bad boy right here, my Cajun, my Creole Trinity. Oh, I just spilled some eggplant. That's okay. That happens to the best of us, I suppose. This is my Cajun Creole Trinity. The goal, my friends, is to infuse the olive oil with all of its love, with all of its flavor inside. The goal is to properly brown it. If you see recipes that say, sweat a vegetable down for 2 minutes, you've done nothing, you've just boiled it. You've wasted your time. Give it time, give it love, give it energy, properly cook it. This step of cooking it takes a significant amount of time. The goal is medium and slow. So here's how it works, my friends. We heat up the oil. We add in the vegetables. We need enough oil that it coats the vegetables. So you see how much oil I used? That is a ridiculous amount of olive oil. Oh, Daramgar, but the calories. Eat less. Eat less of it. Eat less of the volume. If something is calorie dense, you can have just a smaller little bit of it, and it will be okay, I promise you. Not everything in life is about high volume eating and min-maxing the amount of calories in something. You need the oil for flavor and to properly coat the vegetables, my friends, because that's how it evenly fries. The vegetables, they happen in 3 stages. The first stage is the collapsation stage. That is when we are basically shrinking and attacking the vegetables with heat, and it releases a bunch of its liquid. The next stage is the evaporation stage. That is when the vegetables are cooking in their own liquid and the liquid evaporates. Once the liquid evaporates, we will hit the frying stage. And the frying stage is where the vegetables get nice and brown and the oil gets infused with all of that aromatic goodness, my friends. From the celery, from the bell peppers, and from the onions. It takes time. It takes love. Don't rush this process. If you want to, you could just boil everything. Just do that. But if you want to give it some love and time and attention and affection, guys, you have to be patient. You have to be patient, and it will all work out, I promise. Does anybody have any cooking questions for me? In the meantime, oh man, today's gonna be a long stream. Today we are busy. So, sorry, Natalie. I apologize. I'm not able to give you as much attention. As a result, I have a class to teach, a cooking class to teach. And so guys, we're not looking for the oil to be smoking hot because again, the goal at this stage is not to brown the vegetables immediately. The browning will come with time. You give it time, you give it love, and after the evaporation stage, it goes. Your goal is not to saute it super high heat in the beginning. Can I please get a yes, chef? I need to make sure that all of you understand this. So, my friends, the oil, I just want it to be lightly shimmering. I'm not looking for it to be burning hot or anything. Okay, we're just letting it go. We're letting it do its thing. And in the meantime, I'm just going to be going ahead and taking out some of the trash from the actual chicken stock itself, taking out my vegetable scraps, that sort of thing, because we don't need any of it whatsoever. The oil is getting nice and hot. And guys, why am I using an olive oil? It's because, well, it's not just traditional, but it's a very delicious fat. Feel free to use bacon fat, use pork fat, use fats that you want to eat that have flavor to them. We're not using peanut oil, we're not using canola oil, because those are flavorless, neutral oils that will not contribute anything into the final dish, my friends. Your fat is an ingredient, it is not just a lubricant. It is as much of a part of the dish as everything else is. Can I please get a yes, chef, for that? I need to make sure that all of you understand this. So I'm just going ahead and I'm taking all of the scraps out from my stock. You know, you can eat the boiled chicken wings, but they've kind of given off everything that they've already needed to. That popping sound is because I think I ended up splashing a little bit into the pan of oil. Okay? And now, my friends, let's go ahead. Now that that has been slowly heating up for the last few minutes over a medium heat, I'm going to just tie up my hair really quickly. And let's go ahead and get those vegetables properly, beautifully sauteing. And we're gonna do this in several batches. We're gonna be starting off with these aromatics because these guys take the longest. And in the meantime, oven 355 or so, that should be good to go. Almost all of these vegetables, the rest of it will be for the shrimp, but this is a Cajun Creole Trinity, my friends. This is how you make Cajun Creole food. You need a lot of this stuff. So all of these vegetables, guys, and that is why we needed as much oil as we were using for today. The rest of that is going to be for the shrimp, because we're also going to be building like a little pan sauce with it. And now, guys, all I'm doing is I'm stirring around the vegetables, making sure they're all coated in that oil. And I promise you, it's going to get nice and brown with a lot of love, a lot of effort, my friends, a lot of affection. Let's go ahead and hit it with a bunch of salt, because we're looking to season this in layers. We're looking to layer the seasoning in, right? So that it all evenly penetrates, that's all evenly seasoned, and the salt is also going to help pull out some of the excess liquid from these aromatics. And so now that I've added the salt, we go in and we stir this around. Guys, you can hear that the pan has quieted down. We have entered the collapsation stage. This is the water rushing out of the vegetables. It started off as a fry. It started out as a sizzle. But now the liquid on the bottom is getting cloudy because that is all of the liquid of the vegetables. Now, we don't want to stir this too much. We just want it to stir it enough to ensure that it's evenly cooking. And I'm making sure that I have no vegetables stuck to the edges of my pan, because that is where the vegetables can easily scorch. That's where they can easily burn. So I'm just going ahead and I'm plucking them down and I'm assembling them all as a nice flat layer on the bottom. My friends, we have officially hit the boiling stage. You can hear the psh, not the ps, but the psh. And that mid-end psh, the music of cooking is so important, guys. Is everybody ready for this? I need you all to understand something. How do you actually build intuition as a chef? How do you build intuition as a home cook? You observe the way sights, smells, tastes, and sounds change over time, as well as feel. You just observe all the different ways these things change over time. So, how do we know that this isn't burning? Because when something is sizzling in oil, right, it makes a psh sound. It's a higher end sound. If it's like a psh, that's telling you that it's cooking in liquid, and you can step away, you can go out of the kitchen for a few minutes, and it will be okay. That's how you know it's not burning. You can smell it, you can smell that it's not like frying, you can hear that it's not frying, and you can see that it's not frying. The way that you build up intuition as a chef is to just observe it. You're quite literally studying it. Look, I want you all to look, my friends. Look at the way that the pan is flooding with moisture. It is flooding with moisture because that is all the moisture from the vegetables now being released. Okay? So, I'm going to go ahead and just transfer a couple of things into a couple different places just to make it a little bit easier for me later on. And I'll get that into this bowl. Okay, guys, and we don't have to stir this too often. It's just doing its thing. Let it do its thing right now. Okay, just, guys, when you're stirring, good stirring technique, you're not trying to fling things to the side of a pan. Because once it gets to the side, it sticks there, it starts to burn there a little bit. Just make sure that you're stirring it gently, breaking up anything, any of the clusters. And we don't need to stir this too often at this stage. Because once again, my friends, we are purely boiling. Is everybody still watching? I want to hear another yes, chef, please, and thank you. And in the meantime, because of the fact that we can step away, we have a bit of passive time. We have a bit of time that we can go ahead and apply to a few other things. I don't think that's enough yes chefs. I don't think that's enough people saying it. I want to hear it from absolutely everybody that is tuning in.
Yes, chef.
One more time, Natalie.
Yes, chef.
Louder.
Yes, chef.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay, my friends, the vegetables are going. It's all gonna get nice and delicious. Okay? And let's go ahead and just prep a couple of other things in the meantime. I'm gonna put this onion away. I'm also going to just box up my leftover bell pepper pieces. Just throw them into like a little Tupperware and put them into my fridge. Because again, I'm not cooking with them today. I've realized that I just ended up getting too much bell pepper. And so, to the fridge dimension, they must go. Clean as you go, my friends. Clean as you go, and you will make your life so much easier. Where did my phone go? Did I lose my phone? Ah, it's back here. I see. I thought I heard it buzz for a second, so I was confused. Okay, lovely. Alrighty, my friends, so I'm just gonna go ahead and package up my bell pepper for later. Again, when we have this kind of passive time, this is the best time to clean. My friends, this isn't a professional kitchen. There are no dishwashers here. Well, we have a dishwashing machine, but we don't have somebody whose entire job is dedicated to do this. So thus, put away ingredients as you go. Don't mess up your flow. Don't put them away immediately once you're done using it. But once we have the passive time, this is the best time to clean up. So my bell pepper, they go into the fridge because I will not be using them for the rest of today. My ratatouille is going currently. I'm gonna go ahead and put this excess plate into my dishwasher because I do not need it for today. And I'll go ahead and put away my bay leaves. Lovely. Clean as you go. That is how you become a good home cook. And my friends, while we were cleaning, while we were doing all of that, we have our vegetables to stir. Right? Now, my friends, listen to how that sound is changing. It's beginning to sizzle again. Not a super high-end sizzle, because again, there's still water that we're cooking out of it, but it's beginning to sizzle, because guess what, my friends? We've entered the second stage, the evaporation stage now. It's going to get higher and higher, and the oil will begin separating once more, and the vegetables will begin properly browning, becoming delicious and golden. And this is where you need to start stirring a little bit more often, so that the vegetables, they don't scorch on one side. We stir it to make sure that they cook evenly. Now they're getting nice and soft and delicious, and it's all gonna be amazing, my friends. Are you guys excited for this? And now while we have a second, I'm just gonna go ahead and just continue getting all of my excess stuff out of the pressure cooker pot. We had like all of my bones, all of my scraps, and then it'll all be ladled into the grits for later on. There you go. That's all that. And almost done. And then, my friends, all of that chicken stock, it's going to make for the most delicious, the most flavorful grits that you could possibly imagine. Okie dokie. Does anybody have any cooking questions for me in the meantime? It can be about this dish, it can be about anything at all. Tell me about how your day goes, guys. Talk with me. I'm here on your time. We're here 3 times a week, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Oh, by the way, next week, the schedule is going to be the same, but the cooking streams are going to be pushed to 6:30 each day on Friday and on Sunday because I work Hall that weekend. Well, actually, I'm not sure if I was allowed to announce that, but I'm going to be working from home. And so we have to do them a little bit later on. My friends, those vegetables are properly and beautifully sizzling away now. They got that sizzle, they got that shh going, right? And that is that high-end sizzle that we talked about. So let's go back here for a second. And let's talk about some of the herbs that I want to use for today. The number one herb that I associate, and I don't typically keep ground herbs at home, but this is one of the few that I do recommend having. Do I also have some thyme? If I have some thyme, that would be pretty ideal, I think. Sorry for the close-up of my face in the meantime. I don't think I have any thyme, and that's okay. Guys, is the Louisiana Big Three your simmering? Yes, it is, Chris. Also, welcome on in. I don't think I've seen you too much. So welcome to the show. It's lovely to have you. My friends, sage, very nice herb to have. I feel like this is one that you can easily overdo it with. So less is more, and in this case, I'm actually just gonna be measuring it out. Typically at home, I hate measuring herbs. I think it's a complete waste of time. Okay, so this is the one where I do think it matters. I'm using half a teaspoon of sage. Too much sage, and then you're just like, ugh, this tastes funny. I don't love too much sage, but just the right amount. Guys, this little teeny tiny amount of sage gives this dish enough oomph that it actually needs. Other nice herbs to use would be rosemary, would be thyme, lavender, that kind of stuff. I just don't have any of it available to me. Oh, I didn't do the parsley. Gasp, we're gonna have to do the parsley, guys. I totally and completely forgot about it, but that's okay. We'll get some parsley inside of there. It's gonna be lovely. But yeah, traditionally you'd use like a really, really huge arrangement of herbs. I really, really love having sage for this kind of cooking. There's not going to be any sage in the shrimps, just for the stew itself. How do I make dumpling dough? Jack, I believe it's like a 1-to-1 ratio, boiling water to flour, something like that. And then just mix it all in together. Okay, so that's gonna be the sage. And then guys, I'm actually also going to go ahead and get in a couple of bay leaves. And you know what? Let's do some oregano. I don't think oregano is particularly traditional in this, but I'm looking for like a very nice aromatic, you know, and I'm putting them all into like the same thing because they'll be added together at once. But I'm looking for like a really delicious aromatic ratatouille, guys. I'm looking to give it love and affection. So a bunch of bay leaves, and then let's also go ahead and get a nice big pinch of oregano. Where is my oregano? It's up here. I found it. And while I'm up here, I'm gonna go ahead and just stir my vegetables. Make sure nothing is scorching. Guys, medium heat is the key to this. It just takes time and love and energy, but I promise you, it's all gonna get there. It's all gonna get there. It's all gonna happen. It's all gonna become delicious. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and get a nice big pinch of oregano, guys. Okay, well, thank you for stopping by, Jack. Oregano, sage, and bay leaves. So something really nice and aromatic. Guys, this is a vegetable stew. Use what you have. Use the herbs that you have. Use whatever you want to put into it. If you want more spices, be my guest. I'm looking for this to be Cajun Creole today. I'm not going to go too heavy with the spices because it's not a very spice-focused cuisine or anything, but we're still giving it a lot of love and a lot of attention, guys. So this is my sage and my oregano. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and get my parsley prepped for you today. Oof, guys, we are busy today. We are not anywhere close to being done yet. But are you all in it for the long haul? Is everybody here ready for the long haul? Are you in it for the process, for the love, for the attention? So, my friends, a bunch of fresh parsley is going to be used for today. Some of it is going to go into the ratatouille, some of it is going to go into the shrimp, and some of it will be used as garnish. As always, I wash my herbs, I dry them in a salad spinner, and I put them in a little Tupperware with a paper towel because a paper towel keeps it fresh for longer. It's a very nice, natural humidity regulator. Why is Trash Can Cat Mom the only one saying yes, chef? Guys, come on, you gotta pick it up. You guys gotta get it together. What's going on with y'all today? Thank you, Trash Can Cat Mom. Ooh, the vegetables, my friends. I want you all to take a look at something. I want you all to observe something. This, again, this is how you build intuition. So how do you know that the vegetables are back in the frying stage? When it was wet, it was almost sticking. It was sticking to the oil. But now that we're back in the frying stage, guys, take a look. We have pools of oil developing in between the mounds of the cooked vegetables. They've reduced in size, they've reduced in surface area, we've evaporated the liquid, and now the oil is pooling out of it again, right? You can see it, you can see all of that oil coming out, right? So just take your vegetables and mix it back in and make sure that we're frying this stuff up nicely and evenly and beautifully with a lot of love and attention. There you go. That's all looking excellent at the moment. And now, let's go ahead, and while that's frying, let's just go ahead and try to get the parsley done quickly. And as for the parsley, my friends, all that I really want to do is I want to just, it's going to get cooked. Fine, we'll take off the stems. We'll take off all the big, thick stems, all of them off. By the way, the stems would be really nice in the chicken stock as well. I should have done this sooner. and kept it, but that's okay. Because the stems have a lot of aroma, but they're just like a little woody, they're little fibrous. Okay? And just keep it plucking, my friends. Keep it plucking, keep it going. Keep it going, keep it going. And again, we're not leaving the stove for too long because the vegetables can easily scorch. Chat, do we want burnt vegetables? Do we want a burnt ratatouille? I think that's a no, chef.
No, chef.
Thank you, Natalie. You see, even Natalie listens. I love it when she does that. It's great. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just stir up my veggies. Once again, guys, scraping down the sides, making sure we're not flinging it all over the place. This is how much time you need to give if you want to properly fry your vegetables. If you don't just want boiled vegetables in something, guys. Fry it, give it time, give it love, and give it affection. The kind that you deserve. Treat your food the way that you would like to be treated. Treat it with love. Treat it with respect. Give it the effort because you're worth it, and thus your food is worth it too. And guys, this ratatouille, it's such a simple dish. At its core, it's such a simple dish. It's just stewed vegetables. We give it this much love because it deserves it. It's going to be so delicious at the end. So my friends, we bundle up the parsley. We bundle it up and we don't crush it. We don't chop it. All that we're going to do is we bundle it up. We hold it like a little teeny tiny pathetic baby bird. Not so firmly we squish its brains out and not so gently that it flies away. We take the little baby bird and we use the full length of a knife and we slice it and slice it and slice it nice and thin, my friends. We don't chop it, we don't crush it, we're barely putting down any vertical force, we're not exposing all the chlorophyll, we're not going to oxidize the parsley. Just keep it going, guys. Keep it going. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, and slice it. Slicing is the key. Chopping crushes. Slicing, my friends. Slicing is exactly what we need to do to this. And slice it, and slice it, and slice it, and slice it. And that, my friends, is some beautifully thinly sliced parsley. I'm just gonna give it one more pass just to make sure I got all the big leaves out of the way and done with. There you go. That should be more than fine. Most of this is gonna go towards the ratatouille itself. But ooh, guys, the vegetables, now they're getting nice and delicious and golden brown. That is the basis of the ratatouille for today. Scraping up the bottom, stirring everything nice and around. Lovely. Just like that. Whew, lovely. Just like that. And now, my friends, let's go ahead and get this all transferred to a little plate for today. Beautiful. Got that done, got that prepped, got that ready to go. Guys, I think my vegetables can now be pulled out. We're gonna pull them out so that we can give everything else a proper fry now. Okay, so let's go ahead. Here's what I'm gonna do. My stove is naturally pushing, or it's naturally slightly tilted. Okay, so my stove kind of leans this way. And so I'm gonna gather up all of my vegetables like this. I'm gonna lower the heat. And so we basically just naturally create this little thing that once we lift up this Dutch oven, it's going to go ahead and keep all of the oil inside of the pot. I'm using my faulty stove to my advantage here, right? Because now if we tilt it, all of the oil just pools to that side and doesn't go back into the vegetables. So all that we're gonna do, we're gonna try to keep as much of that oil inside of the pan as possible. I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop up my bell pepper, my onion, my celery, my lovely, incredible Cajun Creole Trinity, my friends. Just scoop all of it up and put it inside of this bowl. Scoop it up, keeping all of the oil in because we need that oil still. And we don't want to lose too much of it, guys, okay? We don't want to lose too much of it because I don't want to have to add in more oil. The oil is meant to be respected. It is functional. It is as much of an ingredient as everything else is, but we still need to respect its function, which is to then lubricate the rest of the ingredients that we'll be frying. So I'm going in there, guys. Again, my heat is super low so that my vegetables don't burn while I'm doing this. Heat control is everything in a kitchen, guys. Okay, look how much oil we have left over, right? We cooked the vegetables down, it didn't stick to the oil. It kept all of the oil in the pan because we cooked it long enough. The veggies got nice and golden brown and delicious. Okay, it's okay if we still have a few of them left over, it's gonna be okay. And now, my friends, all of my squeezed in eggplant is just gonna go inside. So let me just go ahead and get the last of its water out. okay? And all of my eggplant, my friends, I'm gonna go ahead and put it into my pot with oil. And now we're gonna fry the eggplants properly as well. Get them nice and golden. The eggplants are gonna soak up some liquid. That's okay, that happens. Just gotta respect and trust the process. Get my eggplants inside. I could have probably done one more eggplant in retrospect, but that's okay. And we're gonna go ahead and see, the eggplants are already salted, excuse me. They're already seasoned, we already salted them quite heavily, so we don't need any additional salt in there. Oh, yeah guys, today's a long stream. We have a long stream ahead of us. I do apologize for how long that this is all taken. I'm sorry, Natalie. But it's gonna be delicious. We're gonna have a lovely vegetable stew by the end of it all. How's everybody doing? Is everybody keeping up? It's confused about anything and why we're doing it? So yeah, the eggplant, bit of a nasty tendency to just soak up all of the oil that it's sitting in, but hopefully it should be a little bit better. It's frying along nicely, nice medium-high heat or so. Just make sure heat's not too low for this stage. And we're just also going to get an eggplant slightly golden brown, my friends, in this step, in this stage of the process. All my lovely little cubes of it, awesome. It's gonna be delicious. Okie dokie, so my parsley is ready to go. My eggplant is currently cooking. Could I get rid of my strainer? Do I need my strainer for anything? And the answer is no. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it now. And then let's actually measure out some of the ingredients that we're going to need for later, specifically the grits ingredients, just so that we can put them away, out of sight and out of mind. You know guys, I surprisingly do not own like a Pyrex measuring cup. That is something that I should probably put on my wish list at some point. Okay, once again, medium heat, frying the eggplant, not looking to char it, not looking to burn it. Scrape up anything that could be stuck to the bottom of the pan. And now my eggplant, my friends, it's getting nice and beautiful and golden brown. We're unsticking any of the eggplant stuck to my spoon. It's frying up in all of that olive oil. It's soaking all of it up, and then it's going to release all of that golden, delicious olive oil inside of the stew, inside of the ratatouille. Okay, and just gotta check something. Please excuse me. Excuse me, my friend just had a notification that I do have to respond to in the moment. Okay, lovely. Guys, this is a simple dish. You can add wine, you can add vinegar to this if you'd like. You can do this in a meat stock as well. I'm keeping this dish today completely vegan. We don't do a lot of vegan, we don't do a lot of vegetarian dishes. And this is a substantial enough dish that you could probably eat this on its own, maybe with some bread, and it would make like a really lovely lunch, even if it does lack in protein. Just bump up the amount of eggplants, it would be really, really good. This is the kind of a thing that is so substantial, it's so delicious, it's so cheap. More and more people should be doing these kinds of stews. I don't know why I haven't actually done that many ratatouille-inspired vegetable stews. I have truthfully no clue why. I think that I was being a little bit silly by not doing that. And so, it's just nice that I get a chance to do this properly. Okay? And all of that looks great. All of that looks wonderful, my friends. And so I'm going to go ahead and take it out in just a second and put into the pot with the rest of my vegetables. Okay. What else do I need to do in the meantime while the eggplant is cooking? Nice little medium-low heat. Let's measure out the grits, guys. Let's go ahead and do that now. So, the golden ratio for grits, guys, volumetrically, is about 4 or 5 times the amount of grits you want liquid. So about 5 cups or 4 cups of water or broth or whatever it is that you're using to your grits itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a measuring cup because I still like measuring the stuff out like this just to make sure you don't have too much of it. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw that into my little bowl. Let's go ahead and get a cup of that bad boy. But first I'm gonna stir up my eggplant, make sure it's not scorching, make sure it's not sticking. I just want it to be frying up nice and even. Get it all nice and golden. Beautiful. The eggplant itself, I need it to be thoroughly fried. I want it to get nice and soft. I want it to cook down all the way. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and get some of the grits in. I'm gonna do about 1 cup of grits for today. And I'm using just some plain old white grits, as is traditional. You could use yellow grits, you can use cornmeal. And so, by the way, I do think that these are quick grits. And so, these, actually, I think I need a different ratio of liquid. I think I'm only gonna do 4 cups and not 5 cups of liquid. So these are quick grits. Unfortunately, I didn't know that that was the case. We're going to go ahead and get 4 times of the amount of liquid. Beautiful white grits here, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and set that behind me. I'm gonna go ahead and put this packet away. Stir up my vegetables one more time while I have a second. Beautiful golden brown eggplant, guys. Getting nice and delicious in this pot. Almost done. Everybody, thank you so much for being so patient with me for this process. Is everybody still listening? I want to hear a nice yes, chef, from everybody watching, please, and thank you. Thank you, Natalie. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and ladle in roughly 5 cups of my delicious, 4 cups, excuse me, 4 cups of my delicious homemade chicken stock and put it inside of my pot. So each of these ladles seems to be about roughly half a cup. So that's going to be very useful for me to know. 1, 2, that's 2 cups. Now done. Let's go ahead and get the rest of it. 1, 2, that's roughly 3 cups. And now let's go ahead and make it 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lovely. All that inside. Let's give the eggplant another stir around, guys, because again, we don't want it to get too dark. We don't want it to scorch. We don't want it to burn. We just want it to soak up all of that olive oil and get nicely and beautifully fried. And that eggplant, actually, I'm going to say right now, I think that it's ready to go for us. So, let's go ahead and once again, we're going to do the same exact method of scooping it out. We take it and we scoop it out. And then we're going to be frying up the zucchini. We just press out all of the liquid, all of the oil that we do not need, that we do not want, and scoop it, and inside of the bowl with the other veggies it goes. And we're going to still keep as much of this oil. We're still losing oil each time we do this, but we still have enough to do the zucchinis now, guys. Or rather, I'm thinking about what I want to do. Do I want to do the zucchinis? Do I want to do the chilies and garlic? What do I want to do? I think it's going to be zucchini time. Okay, there you go. All of those go in, lovely. Getting my pan nice and hot again, guys. And let's go ahead and get my zucchini in. And these bad boys, you know what? I'm actually going to do those after the garlic and after the chilies, because the zucchini itself, it'll flood the pan. It's not gonna get too golden brown or anything. It's just gonna end up flooding the pan with all of its liquid, okay? So I'm gonna do the chilies first. Nice medium hot heat. We do the chilies now because again, these do take very, very quick, right? They take almost no time at all. Alongside most of the garlic, we're saving some of the garlic for the shrimp. Okay, and just mixing all of this around, and we're just giving this a quick little toast before we take it out and we add in the zucchini, because the zucchini will flood the pan with their own liquid and it'll be okay. So all of this inside, all of this inside, all of it going, all of it cooking. And that is basically all of the time that my chilies and garlic need. So let's just go ahead and quickly scoop it all out. My pan is now fully dry. My chili and garlic is nicely fried and toasted. We don't need it to get it too brown or anything. Just nice and processed, nice and ready to go. And now let's go in with all of my zucchini. Because this, again, guys, it's going to be flooding the pan with plenty of its own liquid. So there will be no shortage of keeping things from like burning on the bottom. There you go. Yeah, we're keeping in all that heat. We're keeping in all those serranos. We're keeping in all those chilies, guys. I wanted to use up my leftover serranos before they went bad. And so, this pan is really, really dry in the moment. I'm not really looking to saute or brown the zucchini. It doesn't saute or brown all that well. So let's just go ahead and instead get my lovely tomato sauce mixture inside and just get that bubbling away. That's all of my tomato sauce, all of my red pepper sauce, guys. We're gonna be using it to just deglaze the bottom of the pot to get all of the bits that we previously stuck. We're turning up the heat. We're gonna get this bad boy nicely bubbling and simmering and going. And this, my friends, this is the basis of the ratatouille for today. The zucchini, the squash, all of it coming together, all of it in unison and in harmony. Is everybody still watching? I want to hear yes, chef, please, and thank you. And let's go in with a nice big hit of salt on the inside. Big hit of salt. Another big hit of salt. We got to make sure that this bad boy is nice and seasoned because the zucchini and the tomato was bland. And I need a yes, chef from everybody, not just Trash Can Cat Mom this time. Everybody. Natalie?
Yes, chef.
Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to just get that tomato just cooked down a little bit so it's not like super, super wet when it goes into the oven because the zucchini is going to release some of its own liquid, right? We don't want this to be too watery. It's not supposed to be like a stew. It's not supposed to be like a soup. But let's just go ahead and continue. We're deglazing, my friends. Look at that beautiful red pepper sauce. Look at that beautiful tomato sauce, guys. It is stunning. She is gorgeous. She's beautiful. Okay? A splash of Tabasco. So Gobby Bob, that would actually make it very like Cajun Creole to be using like some hot sauce in here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to abstain from it. Maybe some vinegar in there would be nice for the acidity, but I feel like my tomatoes are acidic enough. But yeah, a splash of Tabasco, honestly, or Crystal, that would make it quite Cajun and Creole. I feel like I just don't want to add more heat because I just have like all of my like chilies. I have my serranos. And so I don't really need this to become too spicy or anything at the end of the day. Just a smidge, fine. I have Franks. That's all I got, Robert. I got some Franks. We'll do a dash of Franks. Just for you, my friend. You've convinced me otherwise. Okay? And that should be good. Just a little bit. For a little bit of that oomph, I suppose. But that's totally okay. We'll just get it inside. Guys, look at that pot. Look how beautiful this pot is. It's bubbling, it's boiling, it's toiling. Look at this thing. I think that looks pretty good, doesn't it? All those vegetables inside. Gorgeous. Right? That looks like New Orleans cooking well. I'm glad. I don't know. Is it? So, by the way, guys, so this ratatouille that I'm doing, I know how like a real ratatouille is made. I don't know if people do like a Cajun Creole ratatouille. I don't know if that's particularly like traditional or anything, but I just thought it would be great because a ratatouille is a classic French dish. We're adapting it to New Orleans ingredients with the green bell pepper addition, of course, with the celery, with the sage, right? So we have a lot of like that classic Cajun Creole flavor. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really delicious. But guys, when you're making Cajun Creole food, resist the urge to dump in half a container of Tony's or some other Cajun Creole spice mix. Cajun Creole cooking is not about a million different spices. It's about the technique. It's about the theory. Okay, it's about the fresh produce that you're using inside of it. It's about the aromatics. It's about the roux. It's about the flowers. It's not necessarily always just about, getting all these different spices inside. But feel free to add in as many of your own spices to this as you would like, guys. Because again, at the end of the day, this is a vegetable stew. Let's not make it pretentious. Let's not pretend that this is something that it's not. Okay? At the end of the day, this is supposed to be simple, easy, delicious food. And I'm also just going to take a second just to wash out my containers, my blender cup specifically, throw that into the fridge, or into my dishwasher, excuse me. Just cleaning up as I'm going always. Cleaning as I go. Cleaning as I go. Just so at the end of this all, I have a lot less to worry about. Okie dokie. Ugh, it's all happening. And by the way, there is like a new device out there I saw. It's unfortunately something AI, but they have like, for video games specifically, this it's essentially like a glorified aromatherapy machine that like uses the sounds that you play like inside of a video game to like get like some smells like out. Like it's like a physical device, and it like if you're walking through grass, it releases like a grassy smell. If you're shooting a gun, it has like a gunpowder smell or something. Apparently it's real and it's legit. And so, point is, there is actually going to come a time in the next maybe 15 years where there will be some people with devices like that if you're watching cooking shows. Right. But there's like so many different aromatic compounds in food that's difficult. Also, Dark Wizzy, hello, it's been forever. How you doing? Hope you're doing well, hope you're doing good. Oh my God, I have no idea what's going on with you lately. It's lovely to have you. So my friends, the tomato sauce, the red pepper sauce with all of that beautiful, lovely zucchini just cooking down. I'm just giving it a bit of a head start. And then we're going to add in the rest of the vegetables. I'm giving it a head start just to cook out some excess liquid because we don't need it incredibly saucy. In fact, actually, what I could just do instead, I could put in all the other vegetables, put into the oven, and then if it's too saucy, we could just cook it a little bit after. I think that's what we should do instead. So my friends, it's bubbling, it's boiling, it's doing its thing. I'm going to go ahead and grab my bowl of the Cajun Creole Trinity, my fried garlic, my fried chilies, my fried eggplant as well with all of that lovely olive oil. Let's go ahead and get all of it inside of the pot. Let's mix all of it in, my friends. We're gonna keep it boiling so it has this heat as it goes into the oven. So it keeps the heat, so it keeps the temperature. Okay, and let's just mix it up. Let's mix it all the way around. Okay, and last but not least, my friends, let's add in my sage, my oregano, and my bay leaves to really just take it over the top. And I'm just scooping everything inside. I'm just making sure that I'm pressing everything down. Everything is nicely and properly boiling. It's moist enough that it's not gonna burn in a 350-degree oven or anything. Also, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let's just go ahead. Let's lower that heat. And now, my friends, let's go ahead and pop a lid on it into a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes or so, or until my vegetables are nice. Oh, come on, buddy, thank you. Until my vegetables are nice and soft and delicious. Gotta use some towels because again, the handles get really, really hot. Ugh, there you go. And into my, gasp, I didn't actually move my rack enough inside of the oven. I need to move this down one more layer so that it just easily fits. And that's what's really nice about a Dutch oven. That's its intended use. You're able to go from stovetop to oven, and you could theoretically keep cooking this in the stove, but inside of an oven, it just gets much more evenly cooked. So, 350 degrees, you get that heat all the way around, and I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer for 30 minutes. 10, 20, 30. There you go. And now guys, let's get my chicken stock for the grits boiling and bubbling away. We're gonna do the grits, and then we're going to do the shrimp after. So we still have a lot of work coming up ahead of us, my friends. So, get that up, get that going, get that doing its thing. Okay, and this bowl I'm also gonna just throw into my dishwasher because we have a second of time to do so. There you go, that's happening. Okay, and while that's doing, guys, let's just go ahead and grate some cheese. We wanna get this up to a nice aggressive boil. Natalie, inside of that little thingy, there should be a blue lid. There should be two lids. One of them is bigger than the other. Let's get the biggest of the blue lids. Okay, guys, let's grate some cheese. I have some Swiss cheese for you today. That's what's going to make your grits nice and cheesy and delicious. Lovely. Thank you, Natalie. Chat, please say thank you, Natalie. Well, I need to hear a thank you. I need to hear a thank you, chef, because you're my co-chef today, right? So I need to hear a thank you, chef, from everybody watching. Please and thank you, Chef Nat. Thank you, Chef Nat, or something like that would be good. And it has to be from everybody. Okay, guys, I have this lovely chunk of Swiss cheese here. Let's go ahead and just unravel it from the plastic dimension. And I'll go ahead and get a cheese grater out, and we will grate this bad boy until it's nicely and beautifully shredded. As always, guys, as you may know, my favorite tip to give. I hate standing up cheese graters like this. I love laying them on their side. Once they lay it on their side, it's so much easier to go ahead and get a nice mountain of cheese. And then we're just able to, did I forget the parsley for the ratatouille? We'll finish it with the parsley, we'll finish it. It'll be fine. Okay. I did forget, perhaps, but that's okay. That's totally fine. 350-degree oven, my ratatouille is cooking, my chicken stock is coming up to a boil because we will be doing some lovely, delicious grits inside of it, my friends. And now, as always, my cheese grater ready to go, my thing of Swiss cheese here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and, does this peel back? It does peel back. Lovely. Just peeling it back as much as it goes. Please, can you peel for me? Can you peel? Thank you, cheese. Lovely. Okay, my friends, we take a block of Swiss and we grate it. And we grate it, and this, my friends, is gonna be melty and shreddy, and it's gonna give us some delicious, creamy grits. Mizono knives, those are your go-to. Yes, I also use my Kramer knife as a go-to. I've just been feeling my Mizono UX10 lately. But yeah, I love Mizono UX10. It's a really good series of knives. Okay, guys, and so, once we get a little mountain of cheese, all that we do is we take it, and then we dump it onto the plate. Just like that. So that we're not like grating it, we always have to like scoop it up or anything. It naturally takes care of it for us. And I don't think I'm gonna need all of this cheese. I think, I think last time when I tried to do like the cheesy grits, the Georgian cheesy grits, which are called elargi, I used way too much suluguni. And so this time I'm trying to use less. Whoa, this Swiss is pungent. It's good. It's just, I'm not used to Swiss cheeses that are so funky, I suppose. I feel like a lot of American Swiss is very like mild and neutral because Americans are like little teeny tiny babies that can't handle that kind of funk. And so that's a fairly funky cheese for the Swiss that I'm like used to here. Not that I'm the guy that can't handle the funky cheese. I can. It's not me that I'm talking about. I'm talking about everybody else. Hope this helps. Guys, it's cheese grits. Use as much cheese as you would like. I am not going to give you an exact measurement because this is supposed to be a porridge. This is supposed to be a staple. It's supposed to be easy. Okay? So I'm not going to tell you how much cheese. Just use as much as you would like. Use too much of it and it's going to get really thick and aggressively cheesy. For me personally, I actually think that this little plate of Swiss cheese is going to be enough for my cheese grits today, guys. So let's just go ahead and get my cheese grater into my dishwasher. There you go. And into Mr. Dishwasher. I should probably clean off all the little scraps of cheese on it. Okay, that looks good. And just throw this into my dishwasher. Do I have space for this? I'll make space for it. There we go. That looks good. Okie dokie. And let's just wrap up the Swiss. And just put that bad boy away. So my friends, my chicken stock seems to be boiling. It seems to be bubbling away. And you know what that means? It means that it is soon time for us to actually prepare the grits for today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the rest of the cheese onto my little cheese plate. That's all the cheese that we need for today, guys. Okay, and now we have our water. We have our chicken stock that we're using. You can just use plain water if you would like, but I'm looking to really amplify it and to give it a lot of flavor. Boiling and bubbling chicken stock. I'm going to add a nice big aggressive pinch of salt because my cheese is a little salty, but the grits are bland and the chicken stock is bland. So it needs that help. I'm gonna move this wooden spoon away. I'm gonna go ahead and get my next tool out. And guys, for this, we will be using a silicone whisk. I like using a non-stick pot. Is everybody tapped in? I want to hear a yes, chef, to make sure that everybody's watching. Yes, chef. Thank you, Natalie. So, chicken stock is going to make it really delicious, but water would also just be fine in a pinch. Okay? So, this pressure cooker pot, I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of here. And my friends, nice silicone whisk. I like using a non-stick pan, once again, when I'm doing things like grits. 1 cup of grits to about 4 cups of liquid. If it gets too dry, we can always add more. I'm gonna just start whisking and streaming all of it inside. The cheese is the last addition, guys. And whisk, 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 because we don't want any clumpage. We just want to keep it boiling. Nice high heat, my friends. And so it looks like it's too much water right now. It's gonna soak up all of that liquid. I don't think that's enough, yes, chefs. I really want to make sure. Do I have any smoked paprika? I do, Robert, but I'm keeping these cheese grits really, really simple today. Not gonna be looking for that in this. There you go, guys. Beautiful. Just whisking all of it in, nice and boiling, nice and bubbling. Get all that inside. We can leave it alone for a second. It's gonna gel up. It's gonna be delicious, and you're gonna see how amazing it gets. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw this into my dishwasher while I have a second of time. Beautiful, golden, looking incredible, looking lovely at the moment, my friends. Let's go ahead and give it a big old whisk. Big whisk. All the way through. And soon, my friends, this is going to come together as a delicious, creamy grit. Yeah, and these guys, they don't take too long to cook. Just a few minutes of boiling, just a few minutes of bubbling. We're not going to keep the heat too high at this stage because once it starts getting viscous, once it starts gelling up, it's going to squelch and stick on the bottom of the pot. Sorry, just have to check something really quickly. My apologies, everybody. Okay. So that's going, that's bubbling. And again, we're whisking, we're checking the bottom. We're making sure nothing is clumping, nothing is sticking, my friends. And you can see the viscosity. You can see it beginning to take shape. The grits are beginning to get nice and creamy and delicious. And also, while this is going, I am going to go ahead and get some butter out of the fridge. Because guys, you gotta have some butter inside of your grits. You have to, it is just not a question. It is an objective statement. And there you go, and that's going, and now I feel confident that I can just step away for half a second. Let me go ahead and get some butter out. Lovely. Got that ready to go, my friends. Yeah, we're not looking for this to squelch on the bottom, guys. We're keeping it nice and simple, nice and delicious. And let's just go ahead and continue whisking and whisking and whisking aggressively all the way around. We're getting the edges incorporated. We're getting everything done inside. Beautiful grits. And in total, for these kinds of grits, guys, it only really takes 5 minutes of cook time. Something like that, nothing crazy. It's steaming, it's getting delicious, it's getting good. Okay, and at this stage, we don't really need a whisk anymore. In fact, I find a whisk to be quite clumsy and not so good at getting the stuff off of the bottom. And so I'm just gonna be switching off to a different tool, probably something like a wooden spoon or a silicone spatula. Honestly, pretty ideal for this, because then I'm just able to really scrape up the sides and the bottom of the pot. It's boiling, it's cooking. Guys, you can already see how much it's gelled up. Those look like pretty good grits, don't they? Cooking it with all that chicken stock. Beautiful. And the Dutch oven, oh, the ratatouille, guys, it smells wonderful at the moment. And we're just stirring it and stirring it on nice medium heat. We're gonna get all of these grits cooked up. Just a few more minutes. And we'll taste it, of course. We'll taste it as we're going, just to make sure that it's doing well. And if it ever starts like splashing, you can just lower your heat too much. It's still not at the stage where it's so viscous that it starts spitting at me, but it can still bubble and boil and cook away. Okay, there you go. That's all done. That's going. It's already 7:37. Wow, I think we might be done around like 8:20 today. Today's a really long stream. I keep doing a lot lately. Okay, and mix everything around, my friends. Mix, all the way through. Beautiful, delicious, creamy grits. I do wish I had like the coarser ground corn. Oh, because those, you cook them down, the texture that you get, it's really special. But for this, alas, we will still just have to make do with what we have. Okay, it's looking really good. It's looking really delicious. I'm just going to rotate my pot like this to make sure I'm getting everything evenly, everything scraped up. There you go. Whew. Is everybody still watching?
Yes, chef.
I want to hear yes, chef, from all of you. Natalie, thank you for demonstrating for everybody. And so this is where we get like a little tasting spoon out. A little teeny tiny tasting spoon. We're gonna take a little bit of it. Be careful, make sure that it cools down enough. You don't want to taste it immediately because it's sticky and it's starchy. And so if it's too hot, it will stick to your tongue and absolutely burn you. Okay? So just take a little bit of it out. We're stirring it up. whisking in all the grits, mixing it up, getting all of it inside. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty delicious. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, that's a good grit. All of the chicken stock, you can really taste it. Okay, that is the viscosity that I'm looking for. That tastes excellent at the moment. And so my friends, let's go ahead and finish it. Super low heat. We're gonna do a nice big old chunk of butter inside, because you gotta have grits with some butter. Some butter inside, and then we're gonna start with a little handful of the cheese. And so we're keeping the heat super low. We're not bubbling it anymore. We're not boiling it. We're not looking to split the cheese. We're not looking to destroy the cheese. So just mix in the butter, mix in the cheese. It's going to make it all really thick. It's going to make it all really delicious. And then we're going to get to our shrimp, I promise. Mix it in and mix it in and mix it in and mix it in. Okay, let's do the next handful of cheese all the way inside and mix it in. Let's give this whole thing a little rotation. Mix it and mix it and mash it and mash it. Look at these grits, my friends. I think those look pretty lovely. Those do look quite wonderful at the moment. Okay, there you go. And last batch of cheese, inside it all goes to get our lovely, delectable cheese grits for today. Oh, and there it all is, ready for us to consume it. But it's just gonna cool down. It's just gonna go ahead and chill out on the side until we're ready to eat it. You know, wow, you guys are asleep today. You guys are sleeping. That's fine. I know it's a long stream. And that's it. That should all be done. Let's go ahead and take it off the heat. Let's do a final taste test, see if we need to make any sort of adjustments to it whatsoever. Give it a little tasting session. Those are good. Those are really good. Those are really delicious. Yeah, that cheese, that has some oomph to it. Okay? And I'll just mix it in one last time before we put a lid on it, and then we just let it chill out until we're ready to eat it. Okay, those grits are completely done. Homemade chicken stock, ratatouille inside of the oven. My friends, we must now get to the shrimp portion of today. So I'm going to go ahead and set this over to the side. We're gonna go ahead and get this pan out now. And this is going to be the place of all of my shrimp for today. We have so much work still ahead of us, so let's go ahead and let's power through it all. I'm gonna go ahead and just set up my shrimping station. So I'm not gonna need any of these knives. I'm not gonna need this anymore. I'm just gonna go ahead and take all of this and just put this bad boy behind me, because we do not need this at the moment. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe down my station, get all these little vegetable scraps out of here. Yep, we have no use for them. And today, guys, we're not gonna be using the shrimp shells either. Today, we're just keeping it really classic. We're keeping it really simple, okay? So, all of those inside of my waste bowl. Let's go ahead and get my lovely shrimp out. It's funny that the thing that we've put the least amount of effort in is, well, we still made the homemade chicken stock, of course, but the shrimp itself is actually the quickest and the easiest thing, and that's the start of the show for today. So guys, I have here some easy peel shrimp. Preferably you would get whole head on. The most important thing when you're buying shrimp, you're buying frozen, individually quick frozen shrimp, IQF shrimp, individually frozen. You just run them under some cold water for 5-10 minutes and they defrost super easily. Okay? So for my easy peel shrimp, normally guys I would make a shrimp stock. We don't actually have enough time to make a shrimp stock today out of the shells. So let's go ahead and get in there. Guys, are we all still watching? Are we still all paying attention? Well, let's go ahead and get each of my shrimp shells ready and prepped and ready to go. I cannot stand it. Oh, come back here, buddy. I cannot stand it when people serve shrimp with the tail on. I think that it's an absolute waste of time. It's a waste of time and it becomes inconvenient to eat. Natalie, could you get me one more dinner plate, please? So guys, all that we're going to do, we're gonna pluck off the tails. We're gonna pluck off all the shells. Okay, and you want to set it right next to me. Thank you, Natalie. And let's close that. Lovely. So guys, all we're going to do is we're just going to go through each of them, pop them open, and peel up each of the shrimps. And get them ready to go through today. There you go. That's one of them shelled, all the legs off and the tail off. Guys, I like to put only edible things on a plate. People serve me shrimp with the tail on purely for presentation reasons, and then you have to go in there and you have to dig out the meat, and it's a lot of wasted time and energy and resources that could have been put elsewhere. I do not serve things on the bone unless it's that much of a hassle to take it off. When it comes to the shrimp shells, and especially the shrimp tails, they take a second to do it. So please, just do it. Guys, just do it. Just get it done. Okay? So these are already deveined shrimp. I would love to be able to show you guys one day how to devein shrimp. Just my supermarkets, they don't carry whole head-on, tail-on shrimp. Okay, so we're just going through it all. This will be a really good time to ask me any and all cooking questions that you may have. You can tell me about your day. You guys can tell me something interesting. You can ask me about anything that you would like. Guys, as always, if you want to support the show, go ahead and check out my Patreon. You can type in !Patreon just to see what we have going on there. I would love to be able to keep the show free for everybody to watch, and thus any and all support there is really, really appreciated. Financial support, that is. All of my shrimps, one by one, let's peel them up. Get them done. Get them out of here. Get them taken care of. There you go. And let's do the next one. But yes, this would be the best time to do so because we have a little bit of downtime. Right, we're gonna do the shrimp soon. The shrimp are gonna take literally just like a second to come together, just a second to come cook. Okay. And all of that, beautiful. Now, do I want to do white wine in the shrimp sauce? I might want to do a little splash of wine. I think that'd be really nice. Like really, like, you know, nothing too fancy, but you know, a little white wine, a little splash in there. We'll do some chicken stock in there, and then maybe we'll thicken it with some cornstarch or something. That could just be nice. Okay. Each of these guys getting nicely cleaned up. Also, Scroblo, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Hello, hello. Pop out that tail. Pop out the rest of the shell. Just keep it going. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And the next one goes out. Ooh, why does he look like that? The shell looks a little strange. Natalie, could you turn on the pan onto a medium heat for me, please? The pan, that's the stainless steel pan behind me. Thank you, Natalie. So what are some of the best reheatable dishes other than soups and stews? So really good question, Trash Can Cat Mom. What do I consider reheatable to begin with? You're looking for something whose texture isn't particularly compromised by heating him up and then cooling him down. As a result, any kind of purees, like cauliflower purees, potato purees, I consider to be really, really good home cooking. Proteins that you don't care about getting overcooked. So like any kind of like braised or stewed or like shredded meats, right? If you did like a shredded pulled pork or something, that's also like really, really nice to have. Anything that you like cook until like a medium rare or something, or like you're not looking to overcook it, I feel like is not particularly reheatable. So yeah, dishes with like shredded meat. I think anything with mushrooms inside of it, because mushrooms hold on to their texture so exceptionally well that those are not really ones that you have to worry about too much. Okay, what's that heat looking like? Oh, Natalie, you just turned the gas on. Natalie, turn that off, please. You didn't light it. You gotta turn it off? Is it off?
Yeah, how do you do gas stove?
Okay, I'll do it. Don't worry. Natalie, it's okay. I got it.
I'm from Texas, no gas stove.
You from Texas? You don't have gas stoves in Texas?
Yeah, what else is there?
Oh, everybody. Okay. Fine. Fine. I got it. I'll take care of it. Guys, let's go ahead and get this pan on to a medium heat. As always, we're heating it up nice and slowly so that it heats up evenly so that we don't have any hot spots, so that we don't have any cool spots. Medium heat with, of course, a nice amount of olive oil. Get that with some olive oil going. We don't need too much for the shrimp itself. We just need it to get nice and hot, and then we'll be able to sear up all of the shrimps. Okay? And that's going, and it's doing its thing. Lovely. I am gonna go ahead and just throw this into the dishwasher because I have a second of time. And we'll put the butter away because we don't really need the butter for the shrimp today. Get that gone, get that taken care of. The ratatouille, guys, it has 8 more minutes to go, and then the ratatouille is gonna be done, and it's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be exceptional. So I'm really, really excited about that. I can't wait to take a look at it. Can I put this cutting board behind me? I do have the space. Awesome. And so guys, for the shrimp portion, we're going to be sealing the shrimp. We're going to be getting it nice and beautiful. We're not going to cook it through all the way because it's going to finish cooking in the sauce. We're then going to build a sort of like white wine, white wine like chicken stock sauce, reduce it all down, add in the vegetables, and then we'll just finish off the shrimp and that. So it's gonna be really easy, it's gonna be really, really quick, it's gonna be really, really simple. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of my polenta spoon in the meantime, because again, this is purely for my polenta. That's all that I really care about them, okay? Ooh, my polenta looks lovely. Great. And my pan, in the meantime, is just slowly heating on up. Guys, let's go ahead and season up all of my lovely shrimp. So here's my shrimp, officially peeled, officially deveined, all ready to go, ready to cook. Guys, you have to check your package. You have to see, is your shrimp already salted? Sometimes they pack it in salt. It just completely depends. You want to make sure that it's sodium free if you're buying it, and if it's not, you want to go a lot lighter on the salt itself. Okay? So let's go ahead and just season up the shrimp. We're gonna do a little bit of salt and nothing else, because again, we have all the other vegetables. We'll have the white wine, we'll have the chicken stock. We have a lot more flavor coming its way. So let's lay them out nice and flat. Patted dry would be ideal, but I'm not trying to waste another paper towel, so I think it'll be fine without it. Let's lay it out, and again, very, very gentle on the salt for these bad boys. Gonna go ahead and get a nice big pinch of salt, and I'm going ahead and I'm seasoning it from super high so that its like splash range is a little bit bigger, so that the diameter of the impact that it makes with the shrimp is nice and spread out and not just concentrated in one area. And then I'll flip over each of my lovely little shrimps, doing this just before cooking, although dry browning shrimp is done and does give it, get back here, and does give it a bit of a bouncy texture. So flipping each of them over, flip it over, flip it over, flip it over. Okay, and let's go ahead and season the second side. And guys, we're gonna get that pan nice and hot. We're gonna go ahead and get our shrimp really delicious and really golden brown. Okay, that's all the salt that we're going to need for today. And I'll get rid of my glove. Salt, I will also go ahead and get rid of in the meantime. Okay, it seems like my olive oil is now nice and hot, and it's ready to go, and it's ready to cook up the shrimp. So my friends, let's begin sealing the shrimp. This is only going to take 1 minute or 2 at absolute most. My oil is slightly smoking, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, I want it to be nice and hot. And now, let's go in with all of my shrimp. Let's slide it out one by one. Let's place them on, and I'm following a certain order, just so that I know when each of them were added to the pan. It's going to take almost no time at all, my friends. But it's fine if I slightly mess up the order. That's all gonna still be okay. Beautiful. My shrimp are going. We're gonna give them a nice little sear. Guys, if they stick to the bottom, just cook them a little bit longer. But it's nice and hot. It's gonna take just a few seconds. Nope, into my sink. Is everybody still watching? Is everybody still paying attention? We're cooking the shrimp. Just a few seconds on this first side, maybe like a minute at most. Because it's still gonna just get finished in the sauce. So the goal is not to fully cook through the shrimp at this stage. We don't want rubbery shrimp. We don't want overcooked shrimp. We just want it to be nice and delicious and bouncy. Nice and tender and not rubbery, guys. Beautiful shrimp. Each of them get flipped. Every single one of them get the treatment. There you go. That's a good looking shrimp. Taking notes? Well, welcome on in, pinch snipers. Look at the shrimp. Beautiful, nice and golden, nice and orange. Okay? And this is just about done in a few seconds, guys, in just a few moments. Again, the goal is not to get them all cooked through at this stage. That will happen later on in the process. The goal is just to get them nice and golden brown, get them nice and flavorful. Few more seconds, guys, and then we'll just pull them off. You know if they're fully cooked, if like the backs of them, the sides of them, they get like, you know, nice and even in color, all like the pinkness is gone, and they've like finished curling up. Right, so like this little guy right here, he's very well cooked at this point. Some of the bigger pieces are not. So this guy's, I want to say done. This guy's, I want to say is done. And this guy's also done. So, a few more seconds. And let's go ahead and remove them. Oh, come on, buddy. Up you go. Up you go. Up you go. Up you go. All of my lovely shrimp are now finished browning. And again, they're not fully cooked through. They will finish cooked through, I promise. And so guys, in the leftover amount of oil, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of our trinity inside. And this is going to be the base for the sauce. Okay, so let's see how much oil we have. I think we could probably do another little splash of olive oil. Some extra virgin olive oil going inside. Another little splash, not too much. And let's fry the vegetables, my friends. We're doing this over a nice high heat. Nice high heat. All of my lovely vegetables in, all of my celery, my bell peppers, and my onions, all of it inside of the pan. And this is where we build the flavor of the sauce for the shrimp. Just get it all inside, my friends. Nice medium-high heat once again. And my ratatouille is about to come out. Beautiful. The shrimp have parasites or other harmful elements like a fish. So yes, it does V6. But if you buy, I mean, all shrimp that you buy in supermarkets, it's already been frozen. And when you freeze something, that kills parasites. As far as bacteria, that has to do with the handling itself, and freezing doesn't kill bacteria. Freezing instead preserves bacteria, right? Or slows it down. But, yeah, no. This does kill the parasites. So if it does have any in them, it's dead. Okay? And we're going to get them all nice and golden, my friends. My ratatouille is now officially done. Let's go ahead and take that out of the oven. Guys, are you excited to see this ratatouille? I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please. And thank you, Natalie. Thank you for providing. Okay, let's go ahead and get... I'm just going to stir up my vegetables one more time just to stop it from squelching on the bottom or anything. Stirring it up, stirring it up. And let's, guys, you ready for this ratatouille? It's going to be beautiful. So, let's see. Are you guys going to be able to see it back there? Maybe, maybe not. Well, we'll find out how it looks in a second. Oof. Okay, it's actually a little bit tricky because I kind of have to move fast. I don't want to burn my vegetables or anything. Ugh, big Dutch oven, heavy guy. Ooh, and we got him out. We have officially freed him. And so, we're continuing to saute the vegetables simultaneously. Let's see how well we did with the ratatouille, my friends. Let's see how we did. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see inside. Oh, hold on. And let's stir it all up. All of the lovely zucchini and all of the herbs. Everything inside is just nice and beautiful and soft. Gorgeous. The edges squelch a little bit, but that's okay. Dutch ovens do tend to do that sometimes. We'll try our best not to stir it in or anything. Beautiful ratatouille, guys. Oh. Okay, and again, we're stirring up the celery and the onions. Okay, so we got all of that nice and golden. We got it all slightly toasted. And now, my friends, we will go in with a nice big glug of white wine inside. And we're going to reduce all of that white wine down. We're just going to reduce it down. We're going to boil it down, my friends. And then we'll add in the chicken stock as well. Did I forget the garlic? I wanted to fry the garlic in as well, and I didn't fry the garlic. I'm so silly. Add the garlic in. That's fine. We'll add it at this stage. It's not going to be fried in or anything, but it'll be okay. It'll turn out all right. Kind of messed up on the execution at the end though, at the finish line, but that's all right, guys. It happens to the best of us, I suppose. And let's go ahead and get all of that good stuff just bubbling down. Awesome. It's fine. That's right. It is fine. Okay. And let's open up my Dutch oven, my Le Creuset. I want to go ahead and open it up. And I want to get all of my parsley inside because I want to give my parsley a chance to just steam through and soften. And stir it in. Lovely. Okay, and let's stir up these bad boys again. Just making sure that the white wine is reducing properly. Okay, I've got to stop splashing out of this pan. That's got to stop one of these days. Not today, though. So guys, it's happening. It's going to get nice and delicious. We're reducing that wine down. And now, I'm also going to go ahead and get some ladles of chicken stock ready to go in this. We're only going to need like roughly half a cup to maximum a cup of chicken stock for today. Okay, and that should be more than fine. So I'm just gonna have that ready to go whenever the alcohol evaporates, whenever the wine is nice and reduced, guys. We're just gonna go in and add in the chicken stock. It's gonna be lovely. And I'm half considering thickening it with some cornstarch, but I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it in the moment. Also, this is still gonna need a little bit of salt because we did not season these vegetables at all. And let's add some salt for the sauce, of course. And we're letting it cook. We're letting it simmer down, guys. Woof! We're almost done. Is everybody still waiting? Is everybody still ready? Is everybody ready to see the final product? We did all of the grits for today. We finished the ratatouille. The parsley is steaming through it at the moment. And soon, my friends, we will also be done with the shrimp. So at the moment, what are we doing? We're reducing the white wine. We're evaporating the excess liquid from this pan. We've deglazed everything. We've incorporated it back into the vegetables, into the trinity itself. And soon enough, we will add in all of our lovely shrimp. Is Trash Can Cameron the only person saying yes, chef now? What is happening? My grip on everybody has been lost. Can't even believe this. Okay, it's going, it's doing its thing, it's reducing down, and I am going to go ahead and get the rest of my chicken stock. Just about half a cup or so. I'm gonna get that inside. There you go, nice and easy. Gelatinous, delicious, full of flavor, full of protein. My beautiful homemade chicken stock, guys. And just get all of that in there. And we'll still figure out if we want to do cornstarch slowly to thicken it all. I do think that would be good to kind of like preserve a lot of the texture in where it's at the moment. So that might be a good like a good touch to do. Let's have a little taste. Oh, that's good. The acidity of the wine, the saltiness of it. You get the flavor of all the different vegetables inside. That's pretty delicious. That is so good. That's such a simple sauce. Let's actually, I've decided. I'm going to go ahead, guys. We're going to do a little cornstarch slurry for the sauce. Okay, because I don't really want it to reduce down more. The alcohol is evaporated, but I'm not really looking to concentrate this any further. So here's all that we're going to do, my friends. We're going to go in with a few spoons of the liquid from this dish. Okay, and then we're going to build a little cornstarch slurry. Also, breadworms, thank you so much for the raid. We're in the final stages of the cooking show. Welcome on in. Hope you've had a lovely stream. Oh God, I'm getting properly rated. They're spamming in the chat. It's fine. It's encouraged, in fact. Hi, welcome on in, guys. We're doing some shrimp and grits with some ratatouille. We finished the ratatouille. We finished the grits. And then soon we're going to get the shrimp all done. So guys, welcome on in. Is everybody watching? I want to hear a nice yes, chef from everybody that just came in from Bread Williams' channel. And I am going to go ahead and get my cornstarch slowly ready to go through this. And I need roughly, at most, a teaspoon of cornstarch. I'm gonna eyeball this completely. I'm gonna do like half a teaspoon of cornstarch because again, I don't want this to be too viscous. I don't want it to be too thick or anything. So I'm gonna do about that much cornstarch, guys. And I'm just gonna mix it up. This is the slurry, okay? And this is going to help give me my final viscosity. All right. There you go, it's all mixed up, all the clumps are gone. Let's go back to the stove. Let's close up my cabinet. And guys, we need to stir constantly so that we don't cook the cornstarch immediately. You're stirring and you're adding it immediately. Stir it up, stir it up, stir it up. You don't want any clumps of cornstarch, guys. No clumps, all of it in, whisk it in, mix it in, do what you gotta do, and soon the cornstarch will activate and give the whole thing a really lovely viscosity. Really delicious, really simple, really, really basic sauce for the shrimp today, my friends. And we're mixing it and we continue to mix and we continue to mix. We don't want any clumps of cornstarch and we continue to accidentally splash this on my floor, which is a mistake that I've already made like 5 different times, but it's fine. It's okay. And we're continuing to mix and the viscosity is increasing. It's getting a little bit more thick, but it's all gonna be nice and delicious by the end, my friends. I gotta stop splashing one of these days. Not today though, not today. Today is not gonna be the day for that. So my sauce is reducing down, my friends. It's gonna get nice and thick. Oh, gently thick. I'm not looking for something like sticky. Okay, I'm gonna wipe off the chicken stock I've splashed onto the floor and onto my surfaces. So it's kind of on me, it's kind of my mistake, but that's okay. Okay, and again, my friends, you can see how thick it has become, right? That is now perfect. That is now ready for the shrimp to go back inside of it, and then we will finish it just at the end with a little bit of parsley. So that is now perfect. So let's go in, my friends. My freshly cooked, my freshly seared shrimp. All of it inside, just to get the final stage of the cooking done. We intentionally slightly undercook the shrimp so the final cooking could happen in the sauce. There you go. That's all happening. Lovely. And I'll get rid of this plate because we have no use for it. Look at it, guys. All the shrimp is inside now. It's blending in with the sauce. And we're just getting it over the finish line and we're getting it all fully cooked through. Shrimp, they take so little time to cook, so you have to be so careful because you don't want to end up with rubbery, overcooked, dry shrimp, my friends. You want it to stay nice and juicy, you want it to have its texture, and you don't want it to become rubbery. And you stop it from becoming rubbery by refusing to overcook it. And that's the texture that I was looking for the sauce, by the way. I was just looking for something to gently glaze the shrimp, but nothing that's like super, super thick, nothing that's super aggressive, nothing super overpowering. And I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Just throw everything into my dishwasher that I possibly can at this point. Okay? And guys, my shrimp is almost done. I'm just flipping it over. I'm stirring all of it around. There you go. Almost done cooking. Just want to get every single one of them nicely and fully cooked through. And now that we are at this stage of the cooking, my friends, the shrimp should all be fully cooked through. The sauce should be all done. Let's go ahead and finish it off with some nice fresh parsley. Is everybody ready for this? We have done cooking. We have done everything that we possibly needed to. I want to hear a nice yes, chef from everybody watching. I want to make sure that you're all excited for what's about to come next. Because we will begin plating all of it now. Look at all of my lovely shrimp. Look at this bad boy, just by itself. All of my lovely shrimp is done. It's ready to go. It is begging to be eaten, and thus we will do exactly that. We will give it exactly as intended, the ability to be consumed. All the parsley stirred around in there, All the shrimp fully cooked through, nice and juicy still, not overcooked, not rubbery. Nice. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and begin plating. Let's first do a little teeny tiny dish of my fresh, delicious ratatouille with so much love and so much care and so much affection put into it. Delicious and simple vegetable stew, guys. Okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and grab my plate, my bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up with all of my ratatouille. That is my incredible ratatouille. Really delicious, really simple, soft, and pleasant. And now, my friends, let's go ahead and plate up my shrimp and my grits. And the first step for that is, of course, we gotta get a bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and open up my grits. I'm gonna give them a little stir, make sure it's not too thick. On the bottom, it does look a little bit thick. I think I can just quickly reheat it on the flame, just to make it a little less thick in the meantime. So just turn it back on, and we're just gonna go ahead and mix it through. Because it's just, when starches cool down, they just tend to gel up a little bit. And so, a little bit of heat, just blast it, and then it's going to be perfect and ready to go for us, for the plating. So I'm just stirring that all around, making sure it's not drying up on the bottom or anything. And we're just gonna go ahead and get that ready for us to plate and to eat. But guys, this is the ratatouille. We're gonna get our cheese grits, right, that we made ourselves, everything entirely from scratch. Just gonna go ahead and heat that back up just so it's a little runnier, just so it's a little creamier, so it's a little looser. Beautiful. Does anybody have any questions before we finish off for today? Okay, and I think that's about perfect now. That should now be ready to go. That is creamy and that is delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and take another spoon and scoop it in. Well, maybe a silicone spatula would be good. Yeah, that's perfect. Mix it in, make sure it's not scorching anymore on the bottom. Okay, and now let's go ahead and get some grits in. They do stay hot for a long time, but it got so cold that it started to get like too thick. So let's go ahead and get a nice, big, generous bowl of grits for ourselves. These delicious cheese grits. Lovely. Maybe this bowl's a little too big, but that's okay. And guys, last but not least, I'm gonna go ahead and spoon some shrimp right on top with all of the lovely sauce. And excellent. And now let's get some of the sauce on. Okay, my friends. Oh, we have done it. We have done everything that we've needed to do for today. We have officially finished our incredible shrimp and grits and Cajun Creole Ratatouille. This was so much effort, this was so much love. Everybody, let's go ahead and do one last recap session. This is my ratatouille. We fried some of the Cajun Creole Trinity, some bell peppers, celery, and onions, and some olive oil. We added garlic, and we added some chilies for the heat. We added eggplant, we added zucchini. We added some summer squash. We made a charred tomato and pepper sauce, and we baked it all together with thyme, oregano, sage, and some bay leaves. And then, my friends, we finish it with a bunch of parsley. And this, my friends, is my shrimp and grits. Some grits, we did it with some Swiss cheese, some butter, some white whole grits, and then the shrimp, we seared it off. Oh, and we did it on a homemade chicken stock, I didn't mention. We seared off the shrimp. We made a lovely pan sauce with that Cajun Creole Trinity, with some garlic, with some of that chicken stock, some white wine, and a little bit of cornstarch for a little bit of extra viscosity. And so, my friends, let's go ahead and start with a taste of my ratatouille. My zucchini, my bell peppers, my eggplant, everything in unison, everything nice and delicious, nice and saucy. So good. So simple. A little bit spicy from the serranos. That is amazing. That is so good. Okay, guys, and now, finally, let's go ahead and try the shrimp. Some of the sauce. Well, first, let's do the grits. The cheese grits. Oh, that's so good. Oh, it's really hot though, Natalie. If I gave you some, you would burn yourself. Nice fresh piece of shrimp, not overcooked, nice and tender. That's tender, that's delicious. The grits are soaking up the sauce. They're cheesy. Guys, this is comfort food. This beautiful ratatouille. Oh, let me have some more of this. And that's it. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of effort. That was a lot of love. But everybody, we are now officially done for today. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Please check out my Patreon, !Patreon. Scroll down to the About section. Thank you all for being here. Wednesday is going to be the next stream. Wednesday, 5 p.m. EDT. As always, join the Discord if you haven't already done so. !Discord. Thank you, Tarina. Thank you, Trash Can Cat Mom. Thank you, Laura Hay. Thank you, Serena. Thank you, Audio Murphy. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I hope you all have a good night. Have a good Sunday night. Be safe, be well, and I will see you all next time.